April through June. Consumer spending up as prices rose. The Fed's preferred rate of inflation, personal consumption expenditure, showing it grew at 3.7%, at pace since June from a year ago. One of the things we're all paying more for these days, energy. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
A new estimate this morning from Moody's Analytics shows that the typical American household has now spent an extra $672 in gas, diesel, home heating, and jet fuel expenses combined since the start of the Iran war. Gas Buddy is also predicting that drivers will see the highest prices for the month of August on record.
The U.S. and Iran exchanging barrages of missiles once again overnight. Members of the European Football Association agreeing to jointly boycott FIFA competitions in the future in protest of a new private equity plan for the World Cup would be run by Jared Kushner's brother. This is ABC News. Buttoning down D.C. for the upcoming Grand Prix, the Freedom 250 IndyCar race scheduled to take place around the National Mall next month, and they're getting ready for it. Here's ABC's Dave Packer.
As IndyCars circle Washington, D.C.'s most famous monuments on the weekend of August 22nd and 23rd, security will be dialed up to 11.
You're going to see a very high level of uniformed presence throughout the city and around this event.
Secret Service Deputy Director Matthew Quinn.
Secret Service agents, Secret Service police officers, MPD, U.S. Park Police, FBI.
Plus countermeasures for possible drones.
We're all on the same plan to make sure that this event goes off as safely and successfully as possible.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Almost a year after Matt Damon won $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, his OG bestie Ben Affleck did the same. The final question was about the names of pardoned Thanksgiving turkeys. His money will go to the Eastern Congo Initiative. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We've got a major development. The mayor of Seattle has fired her police chief. More on that, but first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. We've got that hit-and-run investigation that we've just learned about in Linwood on SR 99. We are looking out for a semi-cab. Right now, older times right now, Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue is about an hour and 20 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, lots of delays, about 55 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, about 35 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Katrina Gashard. Less than 4 days after the deadly gang-related mass shooting at the Bite of Seattle, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has fired her police chief, Sean Barnes. This morning, a coalition of Black community organizations marched into City Hall and confronted the mayor. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is outside City Hall now.
Katrina, good morning. Yeah, about 10 members of that coalition just headed up into an elevator to meet with Mayor Katie Wilson. A coalition of Black community organizers and organizations is rallying behind Barnes, trying to convince the mayor to change her mind, put him back in office. The coalition includes the NAACP, Urban League, Community Passageways, and several clergy and parent organizations. They want to know also why Chief Barnes was fired in the first place. Is he being blamed for delaying communications, getting information out to the public about the shooting on Sunday night? Also, his trips out of town coming into question over the past months as well. Was that the reason? They also say she doesn't have many people of color in her administration. They want to ask her about that as well. If one person in the coalition said because she doesn't know them as a community and they don't know Chief Barnes and his accomplishments. Live at City Hall, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you, Luke. Hundreds gathered at Seattle Center last night to honor the victims of Sunday's deadly shooting. KIRO 7 TV's Nia Bliss was there.
We come before you as humble as we know how.
Days after Sunday night shooting at the Bite of Seattle,
Showing that we are one here in Seattle.
a few hundred gathered together at the Seattle Center.
These are for a friend that was hurt.
Ikaika Corpus says,
I was up close and personal to seeing, people going down.
though suffering sleepless nights himself, Corpus gained the courage to come back for the first time since the shooting to offer this small gesture.
I just love to honor those people, those who are hurt and those who are not with us today.
If you'd like to donate to the victims' families, we've posted their GoFundMe pages on mynorthwest.com. King County prosecutors have filed charges against the 15-year-old arrested at the Bite of Seattle shooting on Sunday night.
He's charged with first-degree assault. Casey McNerthney in the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office says police believe they can show that he fired shots into the crowd. However, preliminary testing of bullets recovered from the 2 bystanders killed show they did not match the weapon that the boy was seen firing. Investigators, meanwhile, are still trying to figure out what happened.
And I would imagine that includes what bullets from which guns, and that investigation could go on for several more days or weeks.
Prosecutors are asking that the boy be tried as an adult. 3 people, including another suspect, died, and at least 4 others were hurt, including a 2-year-old boy. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
An initial hearing on whether to try the boy as an adult is set for this morning. Sunday night shooting left 3 people, including another suspect, dead and at least 4 people hurt. Now to your KIRO News Radio news forecast. We've got sunshine on the way today. Highs will be close to 80. Right now, it's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Kashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in.
Good morning, Ursula. Good morning, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thanks for
this
having me.
is a big news day, so I know that it bums Gee out to not be here today, but we've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, big fat shakeup at City Hall, and we still don't exactly know how to use the terminology. Was he fired? Was he pushed out? Was he forced to resign? So we're going to have details on that coming up. As always, we invite you to join us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. We're also going to find points of levity. And one of the things that we're going to talk about coming up at 9:47, have you ever heard of the term career rust out?
It's new to me.
Yeah, so we'll get into that and more. But right now, let's talk about our top stories brought to you by Pendergast Law. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes is out. Multiple sources telling us that Mayor Katie Wilson relieved Barnes of his duties last night, telling him to resign or be fired. The mayor's office, as of this morning, has not made a public announcement, but this departure follows days of criticism over the response to Sunday's deadly Bite of Seattle shooting. So as we've been reporting, Barnes was attending a conference in Texas, and Seattle waited nearly 5 hours for officials to publicly explain whether the danger had passed. Chief Barnes also angrily confronted a reporter who questioned how often he is away from Seattle, which is something that came up.
I have been here working as hard as I can for this city from the day I got here. Do you got that?
There are reports that you are not in town often.
Their reports are wrong. Do you understand? Let's go, man. Let's go. You understand?
So when
Let's go. Thank you.
And as we have reported, he later called it passion, not a heated exchange. And during a press conference earlier this week, he also rejected the claims that he goes back to Chicago many weekends because his family lives there.
Certainly, I don't travel as often as I would like to. I think any reports that I'm gone every weekend are grossly misstated. I don't have that kind of money.
Barnes supporters are now rallying at City Hall, and I believe Luke Ducey is still out there, and some of these folks include leaders from Seattle's NAACP and Community Passageways.
This is, we don't know for sure if he's been, I guess we haven't heard officially from the mayor.
Yes.
If this is the case, and let's assume it's so because he hasn't countered it, is that this is a deflection and a distraction. I still am in shock that we are... How far are we out from the tragedy at Seattle Center? It's been
Sunday.
Almost right. We haven't even gone a week. And this is the focus. This is the focus. All I know is that day when the shooting happened, I remember seeing video and police were there. They were on it. FIFA, like Seattle police, everyone rallied together. We've been on it.
Glowing reviews.
And I just can't believe that's the focus right now. Were there issues here? Yes, the confrontation that just happened with the reporter, not good. This travel thing, in my view, from what I've been able to see so far, this is ridiculous. I have nothing to comment on until it's compared to something. All I know is I look at the calendar that was reported in Publicola, and we're talking 7 conferences. Well, here's the big question. Was it a legitimate public purpose? Was it in line with policy, department policy? And was it consistent with past practices? I haven't seen any evidence that any of those 3 things were out of sorts here.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I need to see what the reason was. I just know we have enough going on without adding more distraction and chaos into this city right now.
And on the schedule thing, because, again, we don't even know, was he fired? Is he forced to resign? We know that there's beef going down, and there was supposed to be a meeting this morning. And one of my sources tells me, well, one of the reasons why it may be resignations versus termination is she wants him to resign. He would like to be fired because it would mean that he could file a unlawful termination lawsuit. So I think that there's some legal stuff, but, just like so many other things within this administration, it's just a cluster, what. But Chief Barnes, so according to what we're seeing on the calendar, he spent at least 47 days out of town through July 26th. But the count is incomplete, Angela, because Seattle police did not release his schedule for January, February, or most of March.
However, let me just interject and say they're saying they didn't release it. But they actually identified that he went to Chicago 4 times starting in February.
Yes, 17 of those days.
So that's a little confusing to me because there are some February dates that are on there.
So we don't have
Chicago
a full picture.
4 times. And the other piece of this, well, I'm sorry, let me let you talk.
So I want to say, of the 47 days that he was out of town, 17 days were trips to Chicago that they have documented. 4 of those trips being in February, March, June, and July. Another 25 days spent attending 7 law enforcement conferences, including events in Dallas and other cities, which I think go along with the job.
These were 7 legitimate conferences. And if you look at probably 4 to 5 days each one for 7, that's about 30 days.
Yeah.
And again, until I have a comparison, what did Gil Kurlikowski do? What did John Diaz do? What did Carmen Best? I have no comparison.
Yes. And so I have tried to get that from other police agencies. And what I've heard from other police agencies is, especially for a first year, that's a lot. But let me continue, because what we can confirm is he was outside of Seattle for at least 47 days this year, including those 17 days in Chicago. And given the problems that we have in the city of Seattle, I think that the travel schedule could be a bad look, but I don't think in and of itself was a legitimate reason to fire him.
No, that's something you can adjust. It's something you can easily adjust. And
if you want this person as your chief, and that's the big if. Because remember, Mayor Katie Wilson, like you said, it could have told him she expected him to travel less. Or, you know what, this is becoming a problem. You need to be more physically present in Seattle and more fully invested in this community. They could have worked something out if she wanted him as chief. But and I got to also mention that Chief Barnes did not help himself with that confrontation and then not fully owning it. I think he just said, look, that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I will do better, et cetera. But given this time when it's so volatile, he kind of handed her a little extra because I think she was looking for a way to get him out anyway.
Yeah, and notice how this has become the conversation.
Yes.
Not the victims, not like what led to this, not the response time. And keep in mind, I want to be very clear. Again, my background is my dad was a police captain who was up for chief. And I'll never forget asking him about the job. And he said, I don't want that job. He liked the job, but he said, not under that mayor. And I'm like, why? He said, I'm not going to be his puppet. Mm-hmm. And so when you're a police chief in many cities, the mayor is your boss. So when he came out and said, well, we were ready with the information, we were waiting for it to be accurate, was that really the case? Or was he having to agree with what his boss has said?
Oh, and I want to be sure.
And so we're
clear
talking
on
about
something.
this other stuff instead of that.
Yeah, I want to be clear about something. This is still on Katie Wilson and the mayor's office on that failure of communication for 5 hours and waiting for dignitaries. That's not Chief Barnes. That's Mayor Wilson. She is responsible for making sure that the public gets timely communication. That's on her. But they were already clashing over security cameras. She inherited him. She did not pick him, and there was a question as to whether she would even keep him.
Exactly.
He was Mayor Harrell's pick. So, unfortunately, he did hand her some ammo that she needed to remove a chief that she didn't want in the first place, and that's what she's doing.
And you know what? I really want to dig in on that because they clashed on cameras, meaning she was like, cameras down. He's like, I want cameras up.
Yes.
That's your boss.
He said it on our show.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
so, I mean,
she is not.
It was already contentious. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just using this as a convenient excuse. Meanwhile, now the question is, who's going to replace him? I mean, I just don't have a lot of faith in her. Who's going to replace him? He takes his command staff likely. I mean, so there's going to be a lot of questions for a department that has needed some kind of stability, and I hope that he would be the one.
Yes, and that is my other point, Ursula, is good luck with the search for the next police chief. I went over this the other day. Our track record of every 3 years and all this turnover, no consistency. The last long-term person we had was Gil Kurlikowski about 20 years. Has it been almost 20 years ago? I may have the math wrong. But when you are considering a move, especially if it does involve family, if this next person has a family, male, female, or maybe it's someone internal, you have to think who you are going to be working with.
Yes.
And I mean, I hope I live here. I've been living here forever. I want us to have a great person.
Yes.
But I'm really worried about us being able to find a quality individual who would want to take the job.
Absolutely. And just so you know, we will have former King County Sheriff John Urquhart joining us in the 10 o'clock hour. We could get his perspective on this and a whole lot more because, as you said, we're not talking about the victims. We're not talking about the investigation, the difficulties in the investigation. Speaking of which, the 15-year-old who was arrested after the shootout is not being accused of killing the two bystanders whose bullets were tested because ballistics appeared to rule out that ghost gun that was found on him as the weapon that fired those fatal shots. But prosecutors say an officer did see him firing into the crowd, and they've now charged this 15-year-old with first-degree assault and illegal gun possession. Now, prosecutors are asking a judge to move the case from juvenile court into adult court. That is a process that could take months. If the case stays in juvenile court, he could still face some years in custody. If he's tried and convicted as an adult, this assault charge and the firearm enhancement could expose him to more than a decade behind bars.
So is the concern here that this juvenile may not get serious time?
Well, a couple of things. One is right now they don't have him for allegedly killing the two bystanders whose bullets were tested, right? So that gun that they found on him, they would not be able to prove that because some people say, well, why wasn't he charged with manslaughter?
That
why
was my initial thing, right? You were part of a gunfight that led to people being killed.
Now, prosecutors, if they get additional evidence, could increase the charges. But I want to address that because I have heard a lot of talk and about the idea of Seattle and King County are so soft in crime, which we've talked about, and there's a lot of legitimacy to that.
We kind of are.
Yeah, we are absolutely.
Depending on the crime.
I think you and I are both on the same page when it comes to we need to be tougher on crime, including juvenile crime, and I think it's a farce that juveniles get 5 chances with guns before they do any serious time. And I'm with the King County prosecutor who has been fighting to change that.
Yes. And if I'm in a gang, if I'm leading a gang, you would have maybe the juvenile. Now, okay, let's be clear.
Yes.
If the juvenile commits an act with the gun.
Yes, that
is a different thing.
Yes.
But we're talking about not catching this issue and
yes,
punishing, but hopefully with juveniles, rehabilitating in a meaningful way. Until you get to the 5.
Yes. But I want to make sure we don't conflate the two because in this case, 2 people were killed.
Absolutely.
And prosecutors are trying to move him into adult court. And if they succeed and convict him even of first-degree assault, that's a Class A felony. And even if this person doesn't have a previous crime record, that could be 8 to 10 years. Firearm allegation could add another 5 years. So he could be doing 13 to 15 years in prison. I just want to put away this idea of like, oh, this is going to be another one that's 30 days. We don't know. He hasn't even gone to trial yet.
Yeah. But it sounds like based on the law we have in this case, there should be some significant time.
And in any case where a juvenile has a weapon illegally and they commit a crime with that weapon, there's a mandatory 6-month minimum sentence added onto that crime. So when you hear 5 times, they can have up to 5 times, you would have to say, pull over a teenager and catch them 4 times with a gun while committing no other crime for them to only be spending 30 days. And even then, judges have discretion to enforce more. But in this case, for sure, it's like 30 days that is wildly, wildly improbable.
Yeah, this is a 15-year-old. He's accused of something that could cost him his young adulthood, and that is the consequence that you pay for doing something. So what it turned out to be deadly. Or be involved in something that is deadly. So definitely we will follow that.
Yes.
For sure. Okay, let's change it up here because did you hear that Microsoft just made nearly $36 billion in profit over the past 3 months?
Good for them.
Yeah.
It's a local company. I'm so happy for them.
Did you also hear that the company also announced it's cutting 4,800 jobs, including 600 here in Washington? Not so good.
Not so good.
Yeah.
Wonk, wonk. We need a sound effect for that.
Yeah, I know. So I think that's the part that employees have a hard time dealing with. And I think it's hard to swallow because Microsoft is saying that its enormous bet on artificial intelligence is paying off. Its Azure cloud business is booming. 30 million customers now pay for its Copilot AI assistant. But at the same time, the company is also spending record amounts on data centers and computer chips, more than $50 billion this quarter alone. So business is spectacular, which is great for the economy. Investors are thrilled. Microsoft stock has jumped. But I guess this is the question I have, and we can just ponder this one. When a company makes $36 billion in profit and still eliminates thousands of jobs, is it fair to ask, is there ever enough success?
Not when you're in the capitalist system. This is the system we're in. And I hate to just say that. I feel like that John Mayer song, You're Waiting on the World to Change.
Yes.
Like we're just waiting on the world to change, because that is the root of capitalism. You have to, because yes, in our minds, common sense, right? You're making a bunch of money.
Yeah.
No need to fire people. We don't need to fire people at this point or lay people off because, we have enough money to invest in the data centers and AI and do this.
And
but
for a
when
rainy
you're
day.
in the stock market, it is a beast you have to keep feeding. It's never.
Well, when you answer to shareholders, and when you have to answer to shareholders, record profits do not mean that now it's time to lay back. That does not mean the pressure stops. It means, well, what
we
more
have
can
to
you
keep
do for me?
Right. And
but we've always lived in a capitalist country, right? And we've always had a stock market. We've always had publicly traded companies. And I believe there's always been, at least to some extent, an idea of corporate responsibility. And the fact that, and the idea that you need to take care of your workers to whatever extent that you can. You need to have some loyalty, especially to the places that brought you the success. Cutting 4,000 jobs in Washington State, which allowed Microsoft to grow and flourish and thrive, while it is such a slap in the face when you're looking at hundreds of billions in profits. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I just want to clarify because it said 4,800 jobs. Is it how many of it?
The
in
Business Journal
Washington?
said to date, I believe over the last year, 4,000 in Washington State.
In Washington State.
Yeah,
and I know for a fact, talking to real estate agents, that they are seeing the impact of that in terms of people selling homes, in terms of people buying. I mean, it has an impact on our area.
Well,
the businesses, small businesses that aren't being frequented as much.
For sure.
That's
Sorry,
what
I found
was
it.
looking.
Right.
Thank you.
I was like, where did that come from?
We need that on standby always.
I know, today especially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can I say, I love that you said at the beginning, we wish G were here. I told G himself, I said, I'm glad I'm here. I said, but I also wish you were here on a day like today.
I know.
It was so funny. I was like, I wish you were here, but wait, I enjoy being, yes.
Yeah, I know.
We
exactly.
missed you, G.
Yes, for sure. Okay, still ahead, we are going to talk about the controversy that the Seattle Storm is involved with and why one of the team's owners has now been suspended. So we'll get into that and more here on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
How sweet it is!
50 seasons of moments. 50 seasons of legends. A once-in-a-lifetime event. Join Mariners past and present at T-Mobile Park August 7th through 9th for 50 Season Celebration Weekend. The festivities begin Friday with a post-game slugfest, the Alumni Home Run Derby featuring Ichiro and other former Mariners sluggers, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Saturday will be a showstopper. 50 Season Celebration Night presented by Daktronics. Arrive early to witness the biggest gathering of franchise icons ever assembled as the 50 greatest Mariners from across all 5 decades are revealed.
It just continues. Fire!
The weekend wraps up on Sunday with a collectible 50 Seasons pin giveaway thanks to KeyBank. Seats are going fast. Get yours at mariners.com/tickets.
There's 6 markets you can place your money in. Research suggests it's better to have exposure to all 6 markets. Don't miss a potential opportunity because you didn't strategically diversify your assets. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Request your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing in your portfolio. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Your old water heater's starting to peter. DayandNight.net. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
DayandNight.net. You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at LifePointLaw.com. That's LifePointLaw.com.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. Did you know every qualifying vehicle at Sunset Auto Family comes with oil changes for life? That's about $150 each, and you get up to 5 a year, saving you thousands over the life of your vehicle. Visit our friends at Sunset Auto Family. You just get more at Sunset, and people do like that.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. President Trump says he may temporarily withdraw the name of his Attorney General nominee, Todd Blanche. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The two Republican holdouts on the Judiciary Committee say they want it in writing, a commitment from the AG nominee that the anti-weaponization fund is dead, along with limits on the sweeping order barring tax audits targeting President Trump and his family. As Trump says he has no problem pulling Todd Blanche's nomination or renewing it when Tom Tillis and John Cornyn's terms expire in January, Cornyn says Trump would be mistaken if he believes those are the only two Republican senators who have concerns.
Here in Washington, less than 4 days after the deadly gang-related mass shooting at Bite of Seattle, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has fired her police chief, Sean Barnes. This morning, a coalition of Black community organizations marched into City Hall to confront the mayor. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is outside City Hall.
About a dozen members of a coalition of Black community organizations, including the NAACP, Urban League, Community Passageways, and several clergy and parent organizations, went up into an elevator to meet with Mayor Katie Wilson. They want to know why Chief Barnes was fired. One of the members of the coalition says they want to know why the mayor doesn't have many people of color in her administration. She says because the mayor doesn't know them as a community, and she doesn't know Chief Barnes and his accomplishments either. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
The 15-year-old arrested in Sunday's deadly Bite of Seattle shooting is charged with first-degree assault. King County prosecutors say they believe the boy fired into the crowd, and they're pushing to try him as an adult. Casey McNerthy says an initial hearing on that question is set for this morning.
And then likely over the next several months, the court will hear arguments from prosecutors and defense on whether or not it should go to adult jurisdiction.
If police find that the boy did hit someone, more charges could be filed, including murder. 3 people were killed and at least 4 others hurt, including a 2-year-old. At least one suspect is still at large. One of those killed is another suspect. A major development in Pierce County. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office says 21-year-old Brandon Torres Mesa has been arrested in Mexico in connection with the fatal shooting of 17-year-old Braylon Diaz in Parkland. This happened back in May. Detectives work with the FBI South Sound Task Force, and Mexican authorities to track him down. He's been returned to the U.S. and is expected to be extradited to Washington to face charges. And now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. All lanes of southbound SR 99 are still blocked in Linwood. We now know it was a hit-and-run. Trooper Kelsey Harding.
Unfortunately, the semi-truck did not stay on scene. We have witness reports saying that it was a semi with a blue cab and white trailer.
Other drive times right now, Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue is going to take you at least an hour and 10 to an hour and 20 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, a lot of delays, about 55 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, about 33 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by Harborstone Credit Union. Open a money market special online with a 3.75 annual percentage yield with full access to your money the entire time at harborstone.com/moneymarket, insured by NCUA. For your forecast, warm weather and sunshine is on the way. Highs will be close to 80. Right now, it's 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in. Coming up at 9:47. Have you ever heard the term rusting out your career?
I hope that doesn't mean
myself.
just getting old. I'm like,
I know, right? Exactly. Okay, we'll talk about that coming up at 9:47. But right now, we need to talk about what's going on with the Seattle Storm, because the team has now issued an apology over this incident earlier this week involving one of the team's co-owners and 2 teen fans. So if you haven't been following this is a confrontation that happened during Tuesday night's game against the Indiana Fever at Climate Pledge Arena. And for context, Fever guard Sophie Cunningham has kind of, she's made comments recently about allegedly speaking up for girls and basically saying that, the whole thing about biological men should not be able to play girls' sports. So these girls were wearing T-shirts that had XXXY. They were from this company's this is an athletics company that advocates for limiting girls and women's sports to biological females. Yes. And so co-owner Celeste Keaton said something to the girls, and what I'm hearing and seeing, because there's so many reports of what was said, but basically she said something to the effect of they need God's forgiveness, and she used an expletive. And so now Storm majority owner Ginny Gilder has issued this public apology saying that everyone who attends a Storm game deserves to feel welcome and treated with respect. And now the story has even gone further, because now we're finding out that the WNBA has fined the team and suspended this particular owner from attending the team's next 5 home games, saying that team owners are expected to uphold league standards for respectful conduct toward fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the WNBA did the right thing on this, and it sounds like the Seattle Storm did as well, yes, issuing that public apology. Even though we may disagree on various issues, and obviously we should have certain boundaries in terms of how we protest. I think an owner confronting teen girls and saying what was said was just not okay. And they had to come out, because this is something we all come together where it's music events, sporting events, and hopefully we bond around that one thing. And we're going to have diverse views. And the WNBA is trying to build. They're on the upward track. They don't need this distraction to take away from that.
You said it beautifully. Exactly. And I'm guessing that the team, first of all, I think regrets that this is even in the news right now, because this is a team that takes great pride in trying to be as inclusive as possible. And I will also say that there has been a lot of push from certain groups to make Sophie Cunningham this at the center of this controversy, like putting her out there and asking people, hey, show up before the game. Let's hold a rally. I think a couple dozen people showed up for this rally. And then putting the girls, I think they were used. Putting the girls right there in the front row.
Well, here's one question I have for everyone listening. And then, Chef, I want to get your thoughts on this. Is it harassment, though, to come to a game wearing a shirt that said what it said about, like, to a group of diverse women on the court for them to see, or for people who might be, there are shirts that you can wear that can just be a form of harassment. And would you consider that shirt to be a form of harassment?
Well, I think some people would think it's a form of harassment.
Yeah.
I also think
and then putting him in the front row.
Putting him in the front.
It's not okay. It wasn't cool.
No, it was essentially done to provoke a reaction, and that's exactly what it did. It provoked a reaction. I'm being very careful in the words that I use, too, because this is one of those topics that you can just go sideways real easily.
100%. And again, I believe in protesting, but I'm saying when you come to a game where there's a lot of diversity in there, the LGBTQ community loves going to the WNBA, and you wear a shirt like that, for me, it feels like harassment. It feels like you're trying to hurt me.
It's intentionally provocative.
And that's not love.
It's intended to provoke.
Yep. Go ahead, Chef. What were you going to say?
If you're going to talk about paid protesters, I guess this would be paid protest if you're buying people front row tickets to wear those shirts. But I want to explain something to people that does not get into any sort of controversy or opinion about transgender rights and whether or not you believe that, trans girls should play in girls' sports. So these girls are wearing these shirts that say XXXY, right? And you often hear these phrases, there are only two genders, sex is binary, follow the science, biological sex proves XXXY, there are only men and there are only women. I want to go through some basic biological facts and explain to you why that is completely false, right? So most people develop either XX, female, or XY, male, right? But there are dozens and dozens of chromosomal differences that express in ways that do not fit into one category whatsoever. And those people are usually called intersex, or I believe it's different sex display. So, for example, someone born with an XY chromosomes, you'd think, oh, that's a boy, right? Well, some of those people, they have female external genitalia, they have breasts, and they have internal testes too, and no uterus. But they also, with XY chromosomes, might have typical male and female anatomy, sex anatomy, right? They can have female external genitalia and a uterus and fallopian tubes with X and Y chromosomes. And if you go with the reverse, XXX, hey, that's female, right? No, you can have people with XX chromosomes with ovaries and a uterus, but with external male genitalia. And there are dozens of variations of this. Like, I can't even go into the exhaustive list, let alone the fact that there are other chromosome patterns like single X or XXY, right? Where someone develops male, but they have small testes, lower testosterone, and they have breasts.
And as much as I appreciate, and as much as I appreciate all this, do you think that anyone who is arguing on the side of, it's either a boy or a girl is going to listen to any of that?
I would hope that as a society...
that's just it. I hope everybody wants facts.
I've had these conversations with members of my family. Like, my brother was born with a chromosomal abnormality that gave him a severe handicap. And people who are born chromosomally different are not handicapped. They are not, a genetic freak. It is a simple fact that genetic variation is a basic part of biology.
Yes.
It's a basic part of humanity. It's how we develop.
Yes.
In the same way that people have different hair colors and eye colors. So whatever your opinion on trans rights is, I just want to be clear that to say there are only two genders or it's just boys and girls, that's not a biological fact.
Right. So to wear a shirt like that is,
it's ignorant.
It's ignorant. It's offensive to people who exist beyond that. It's not scientifically. It's a lot of things.
If this is new to you or you don't understand it, that's fine. Like, we can all work to better understand one another and still remain respectful.
A lot to chew on. I know a lot of you are weighing in. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Okay, coming up at 9:47, what is career rust out? And could you be dealing with that right now in your job? We'll talk about that next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Premium Wireless. How did you get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good night's sleep.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
John Curley here. When the AC starts acting up, don't assume you need a whole new system. Home Comfort Alliance, their approach is simple. Repair first, replace only if needed. Their techs diagnose the real problem because a simple fix can often get the cooling back up again and not cost you a full replacement. Need something new? Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. That's what we did at the barn. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
KIRO News Radio is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks in their preseason home opener, Saturday, August 15th.
To enter, open the KIRO News Radio app or visit mynorthwest.com/win for details.
You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances.
Enter daily from July 28th through August 3rd.
Full details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
That's mynorthwest.com/win.
It is 9:48 on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. He will be back tomorrow. Angela Poe Russell is in. And let's talk about rusting out in our careers. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah. You know, I was wondering about that. But yeah, because I was like, does it mean I'm getting old? Like, what does this mean? Okay, there was an article that came out, and this is a new term for people who are simply going through the motions at work. So feeling unmotivated, kind of having the doldrums. And this is different than burnout. Ursula. So which comes from your, people piling on too much work, too much stress, that kind of thing. Rust out happens when you're simply not challenged. It's too easy. It's simple. It's not exciting because you've done this 100 times before. Experts say, again, it's losing motivation, no longer finding meaning in your work. It's important to note that it is normal to have, highs and lows and ebbs and flows, but it's when it stays around, when you haven't in a long time felt that excitement at work. According to Gallup, employee engagement has been slipping. Just 31% of U.S. workers said they were actively engaged at work last year, down 36% in 2020, with the biggest declines among younger employees. Career experts say rust out doesn't necessarily mean it's time to quit, but it could be a sign to kind of think about things differently. Maybe asking for a stretch assignment, learning a new skill. I know for some people, they'll maybe keep their job and maybe do something interesting on the side, that brings them excitement. So, but what was interesting to me, Ursula, and I want to get your opinion on all this, is one theory to more young people staying at their jobs has to do with the economy and being nervous about moving and making a transition. So does this resonate with? You never look bored at work. Like you look like you got plenty of challenge.
Because I'm not, even though, y'all know that I've been here for a long time. I started when I was 23. I turned 61 in a couple of weeks. That's a long time to be with one company, to be at one radio station. It's a very, very long time. But lucky for me, I have changed in my position. So I started as a desk assistant and became an editor, then became a reporter, then became a managing editor, then became news director, then became news anchor, and then now talk show host. This is my last. This is the last iteration of Ursula at KIRO Radio.
There's nothing they can do to come up and say, Ursula, there's this other role.
No. Oh, except that I do the Ask Ursula, which has been a joy. So no, I have never felt like I've been stagnant. Have there been lulls in my career? Yeah, but the kind of work that we do makes it hard to feel like you're not learning something new. Every single day, I'm feeling like I'm drinking from a fire hose. Every day, without exception. And so I think that has kind of kept me engaged in this work. But I'm curious, and I want to hear from all of you who are listening right now, too. Do you think of your work as it is a means to pay my bills and I get my enjoyment and my fulfillment on what I do on the
somewhere
outside?
Else. That's a great, text us 888-973-5476. Should work just be for paying bills or do you have the philosophy, you know what? Pay the bills, get it somewhere else, get your passion and excitement from someplace else.
Because I'm a firm believer of I could not do a job if I didn't actually love what I do. Think of how much time we spend here.
Yeah, I honestly adopted that policy about 15 years ago. I have to enjoy what I'm doing. And I'd have to be really, but that's a very privileged position to take, right?
Yes.
But yes, have I taken on stuff for money? Absolutely. But in general, I try to move in that direction of moving in a purposeful way. Chef, what do you think?
I think 31% saying they're actively engaged, that seems about right to me. Because, how many people stay in a job because they need the health care, right? Or they stay in a job because that's the job that pays them well enough or provides them the schedule that gives them the flexibility with their family. Or how many people are in a job that they're maybe excellent at and, they would love to be more engaged, but, they have no means of moving forward in their career, that position. Or they work with coworkers who are, create an untenable environment. Mm-hmm. I think what this reminds me, and Angela, you brought this up, is what a gift it actually is if you find fulfillment in your work. We operate on the assumption.
And if it pays decently, too.
Yeah, we operate on the assumption that, you should be able to, find, work your passion, and your career should be fulfilling, and it should be financially rewarding. Well, you're lucky if you can pick one.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Is it perspective? I remember talking to a lady who cleaned houses for a living, And she was telling me how much actually, there are two different people I've talked to, clean houses, said the same thing, how they love their work and they feel like they're making life better for people and giving them the bandwidth to be able to focus on the things that really matter.
Ooh, I love that.
Like they had,
Great
like you could
perspective.
see the sparkle in their eye. And I have to imagine, like, no matter what you do, you probably can, I don't know, can find some, whether it's building houses or it's just whether you enjoy it. I mean, you can look at, for example, transportation as a way of connecting people and getting them to where they need to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just.
I remember hearing from a janitor, actually, reading about this, and a janitor said, people look down on us, but I love my job because I create this safe and healthy environment for kids to be able to learn in. And so maybe if you're stuck, if you can find some of that perspective.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kevin in Black Diamond just texted in and said, I only work to pay my bills. There's no enjoyment out of working at all. That's tough. Said, I had enjoyment with my career when I was self-employed, but COVID pretty much ruined that. I've had to go back to work for a company ever since. I think there's also challenges when you're self-employed, too.
Oh, gosh.
From
I
my
could talk
friends
to you
who-
about that.
Okay,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's always
yeah.
this feeling like, okay, I got to line up the next gig.
Yes.
When's the next work going to be coming?
Yep.
I think that would be challenging as well. Okay, text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We have a guest joining us next because you've heard that Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes is out, either forced to resign or fired. We don't have the details just yet. John Urquhart is going to join us. He's going to help share some of his perspective. Was it a lot of travel for a chief? We've also got questions about the investigation itself and a whole lot more. So stay with us on the Gee and Ursula Show.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
DayandNight.net. Slow drain? Backed up toilet? Call Day and Night to save $100 off any drain cleaning.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. From a slow drain to a major backup, no drain is too big or too small. Whether we're your first choice or smart second opinion, I guarantee our experts will solve any drain problem, day or night.
Now get $100 off any drain cleaning.
DayandNight.net.
Jake and Spike.
There's a rule.
Noon to 3.
If someone can do something about it, you tell them.
That's a good rule.
If they can't do something about it, you don't say anything.
Were they worried about the awkwardness?
That's on them.
Subscribe to the Jake and Spike YouTube channel and watch live or later.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Did you know that 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state? I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide financial support for breast and gynecologic cancer patients in our community. Join us at Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 23rd at the Somme Hotel in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon of inspiration. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 23rd at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon?
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. ClosetsByDesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. A Washington surprise. President Trump now saying he may pull the nomination of Todd Blanche for Attorney General until the two men blocking the vote in the Senate, John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, are out of office in January. Cornyn lost a primary bid for re-election and tells ABC's Jay O'Brien he remains a no vote because Blanche hasn't fully abandoned the compensation fund that President Trump wants.
Well, I like to think that, in matters of principle like this, my position would be the same, but obviously provides a measure of political freedom.
The war is widening. Iran firing missiles for a second straight day into Jordan and into Kuwait, where a strike killed a person. Iran's proxy suspected of drone attacks on ships off Egypt and into Saudi Arabia. Poland's prime minister says a Russian cruise missile left a giant crater in eastern Poland. The missile apparently was intended to hit a target in Ukraine. This is ABC News. More about the allegations against the actor Jared Leto from ABC's Hannah Battah.
Explosive allegations against Jared Leto, who won an Oscar for his role in Dallas Buyers Club. He starred in a string of Hollywood movies, including Tron Ares and Masters of the Universe. But now he faces new allegations of sexual misconduct from multiple women who spoke to the BBC in the documentary Jared Leto, Hollywood's Dark Secret. ABC News has not independently verified these claims. 4 of the women say they were teenagers when they met Leto, who was in his 30s and 40s.
He denies the allegations and has not been charged with a crime. There'll soon be a new way to get your food delivered faster from the air. DoorDash has approval from the FAA to begin its own drone delivery service and build its own aircraft. No timeline yet. Public outcry has some communities pulling the plug on automated license plate readers, but despite that, 100,000 plus of these AI cameras are in all 50 states. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes is out. More on that, but first, KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. All lanes of southbound 99 have reopened in South Everett at SR 525. It was closed for over 4 hours as State Patrol investigated a fatal hit-and-run crash involving a motorcycle and a semi. The rider was killed. Other drive times right now, Linwood to Seattle is going to take you at least an hour and 10 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, lots of delays, about 45 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, about a half an hour. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes is out. Multiple sources tell KIRO News Radio Mayor Katie Wilson fired Barnes last night. This comes less than 4 days after a deadly mass shooting at Bite of Seattle. At a press conference Monday, he was asked about a 5-hour delay in getting vital information out to the public.
Chief, you know that people are angry that this was 5 hours that your department waited.
Yeah, again, you're right. We do not have that person in custody, but we wanted to get it right.
Now tensions are rising at City Hall. Barnes supporters say he's being unfairly blamed for the city's and the mayor's communication failures. A coalition of Black community organizations is rallying behind Barnes and trying to convince the mayor to change her mind. After a months-long international manhunt, a suspect in a deadly Parkland homicide is now behind bars. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office says Brandon Torres Mesa was located and arrested in Mexico with help from the FBI and Mexican law enforcement agencies. He's accused in the May killing of 17-year-old Braylon Diaz. Torres Mesa is now in custody and will be returned to Washington State to stand trial. A standoff in Grays Harbor County included a teen shooting arrows at police. According to the sheriff's office, a father in Elma called 911 about his son yesterday. He said the 13-year-old had an axe and was threatening to grab a gun. When deputies arrived, the boy started firing arrows at them and a police drone. A deputy fired one shot back, but the bullet did not hit the teen. They eventually ended the standoff using less lethal rounds to safely detain the boy. A speeding motorcyclist in Skagit County learned that running and even swimming won't outrun the Washington State Patrol. Troopers say they tried to stop the rider for speeding more than 20 miles an hour over the limit on State Route 9. The motorcycle later developed mechanical problems, with the rider using his feet to push it down the road before ditching the bike.
Get on the ground right now! You're under arrest!
He even tried to swim away. He was arrested and booked into the Skagit County Jail. And now for your KIRO News Radio weather. Sunshine is on the way. Warm temperatures close to 80. Right now, it's about 63 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. G is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in. Thank you so much for being here, Angela.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. You know, we were talking about our jobs and asking for people to text us about whether they feel like they're rusting out or whether they feel motivated. Someone texted in saying, my name is Rob and I love my job because I feel blessed I'm able to work after having my gut destroyed because of cancer. Oh. I am a survivor. I get to drive a truck, local delivery for medical supplies for medical research companies. The best part is spreading my joy and good spirits to my customers. I believe I am well liked. Finding purpose where you are.
Finding
purpose where you are.
Rob, right? You said
yes, Rob.
Thank you for sharing that, Rob. We always need some good energy to start off an hour when we're going to hit some hard topics. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
It is our top story this morning. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes is out. Multiple sources telling us that Mayor Katie Wilson gave him a choice last night to resign or be fired. The mayor's office, as of yet, has not publicly announced the move, but all of this comes following days of criticism over his absence during the deadly Bite of Seattle shooting, the city's delayed response afterward, and then that heated confrontation with a reporter who was questioning how often he travels out of state. But as you heard, if you heard us in the first hour, was this really about one bad week, or had the chief already lost the confidence of the mayor? We have someone who has been in law enforcement for decades, former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, joining us here in studio. Thank you, first of all, for coming in.
Decades. Apparently, I never rusted out.
Hey, look, you and I, decades. We can say decades, right?
Exactly.
Was it about 40?
43.
40 years total? 43.
Yep.
So you got me beat. Wow. I mean, congratulations on that.
I started young.
That's what I like to say, too. I was 16. So, first of all, just react to what you're seeing. What you have seen over the last couple of days, culminating with what has happened now.
Well, it has been a lot, and unfortunately, there's so much noise around this whole shooting, and it's too bad because it means we're not talking as much as we should probably about the victims and all the other victims that were there, besides just the people that got shot and killed. The terror that had to go through all the patrons that were there that were running away from the gunfire, and that alone is a big deal. But we've got all these other things, the fact that he wasn't there, which I think is a red herring, personally, the fact that he apparently travels a lot, the real delay in putting out any information whatsoever, and then it wasn't that great. The press conference the next day, that wasn't that great. The confrontation with the reporter from the South Seattle Emerald, Another press conference that really didn't give any information, and the fact that the mayor has been front and center in all of this rather than the police chief. And to me, from my perspective, that's the biggest aspect right there.
And so what that told you is she doesn't trust who she has in that position to handle what would normally be handled by a police chief or a sheriff.
That's how it should work. That's how it should work. I think that's what the public wants. That they don't want to have a politician front and center on a criminal issue like this.
Yeah, that was weird to me. Who do you think was making that call? Was that so? You think that was the mayor deciding we're going to lead this? It was weird.
Well, it's all circumstantial, but there's no doubt in my mind that either Katie Wilson or the people around her that were telling her what to do. She's brand new at this job. She's getting terrible advice, I think, which is surprising because I know she does have some good people around her. And she's just making bad decisions that have made this whole situation worse. We don't know what's gone on behind the scenes with Chief Barnes. Maybe there's other issues that he had that we don't know about.
Right.
But at this point, it appears that he's out, and I think that's too bad.
Yeah. I want to talk about, because we still on the text line, I love what you said earlier about, unfortunately, we've had a big distraction and it's led us away from talking about some other things we should, and we will get to that. But I just want to put some things to bed here and maybe get a better understanding from you. Chief Barnes' calendar came out yesterday. I want to say Publicola had been investigating it for some time. And what we saw were 7 conferences this year. They were all legitimate conferences, the legitimate conferences that existed, a couple, I think like an award thing he went to. So 7 of them, 4 trips to Chicago. And it's my understanding that he has a high schooler. So I have to imagine if he got the job a year ago, maybe there was a whole transition. So when you hear 7 conferences.
47 days outside Seattle this year, potentially,
what
or
is
more.
That, a month and a half that he's gone?
7, okay.
47 days is a month and a half out of, a 6-month period, pretty much? That's too much. Mm-hmm. Now, I faced the same thing when I became sheriff, and any big city police chief or sheriff faces it as well. You are in demand. You're a big deal, and people want you to come to these conferences. They want you to be keynote speakers. You want to go because you want to be in the center of the spotlight, so to speak. There's lots of training you can go to, and it really takes self-control. You have to say, no, I need to stay here. And you kind of learn that. I was really, really, really careful about where I went and when I went and for how long. And I just didn't do it. I was rarely gone. And maybe I'd take a week off at Christmas, and I didn't even do that every year, and maybe a 2-week vacation, and that was it. And yeah, I'd go to a conference maybe, but boy, not very many. Just not very many. I think you may have heard me say it on television. Woody Allen says 80% of success is just showing up. And for a police chief, I think it's a lot closer to 95%, if not more. You have to be there.
Well, here is where I will challenge on that. So I agree with the sentiment. For me, having this discussion without the context and numbers of previous chiefs in this position, I have a problem with it. These were legitimate events that he went to. And so we can philosophically say what we prefer in terms of people that are weighing in and what we think is the right thing. But in terms of condemning, until I see what Gil Kurlikowski did and what John Diaz did or what Carmen Best did, I'm just not going to throw a stone at that one.
My pushback to that would be, well, you got one chief here that tells you what he thinks.
Yeah.
I don't really care what Gil or Carmen or any of them did. Doesn't really matter, because it's all well and good until something happens and it becomes an issue. And it ought to be common sense for any of these police chiefs that you just have to be around. So even if Carmen was gone a lot, and she may have been, or any of the 8 chiefs they've had in the last recent memory, 9 if you count Kurlikowski, who's the longest serving chief in a long time, it doesn't matter. He should have been here.
Should have been. So he's supposed to. When you say should have been here, what are you speaking of specifically?
I'm speaking of limiting the amount of time you are gone. So when you have these issues that happen,
understood,
you're there. Now, as far as the fact that he wasn't at Bite of Seattle, I don't think that should be an issue whatsoever. That was He had an acting chief. Terrell Davis was there, so there was people that could speak for him. And the chief's not going to do any investigation. It's just there to maybe run the scene a little bit or to reassure the public what's going on as the police chief. People want to see that. But he missed this one. I really don't care at all. But I look back at all the other places he's gone. Maybe nothing happened and he got lucky, but it's just too much. It's just too much, in my opinion. And from what I've seen, the public agrees with me.
You are listening to former King County Sheriff John Urquhart. We're talking about the situation right now with, we don't know who we're going to have as Seattle Police Chief once the mayor and the current chief, Sean Barnes, are done with their meeting this morning. It's very unclear. What would need to happen to help bring some stability to a police department that has not had any in a long time?
Well, let me give you a little list here. John Diaz, Jim Pugil, Harry Bailey, Kathleen O'Toole, Carmen Best, Adrian Diaz, Sue Rahr, Sean Barnes. 8 police chiefs since 2009. The average 2 years. That's it. What police chief, what A-list person in their right mind would come to Seattle to be the police chief here under a brand new mayor that's got her own problems? That's the issue. Seattle deserves an A-list person. And I thought Sean was going to be that person. Certainly Bruce Harrell, who I have a lot of respect for, thought that. City Council approved him. They thought he was going to do the job. And something happened. And I think she really, really jumped the gun by firing him. Look what's going on in the lobby of City Hall right now. Certainly the African-American community doesn't like that he got axed.
We felt, I can tell you this, we found him to be very present in the community. And I love what you said earlier is that when you become, a leader of a police department, sheriff's office, you're in high demand around the country. And you said, I had to learn that discipline. I had to learn the discipline. I'm not going to go to everything like that. So this jumping the gun piece, I think, is really important. I wanted to pivot to another topic, but if you have more on this, feel free.
I wanted to ask you a couple things because we're still trying to figure out, okay, what exactly was it? What was the straw that broke the camel's back in this particular case, or was it a culmination of things? Because you and I have had an exchange about this situation with the reporter from the South. I don't want to say the wrong name of the organization, but this reporter South Seattle Emerald. From a leadership standpoint, how damaging was that incident and the refusal, I guess, to acknowledge the mistake? Oh, it was definitely damaging. We don't expect our police leaders, especially a police officer, people get in your face all the time. God knows I've had $1 for every person that got up in my face. I'd be really rich. And you just don't do that. That's number one. Number two, when you're an executive, when you're the leader of an organization, you don't do it because the message it puts out. But that was totally recoverable. He was in front of a camera and the press the very next day. All he had to do was say, hey, I made a mistake. I let emotion get the best of me. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize to all of you, and I apologize to that reporter. He didn't do that. And, he blew it off as passion and not a heated confrontation, which we all, don't believe your lying eyes. We all saw that.
Yeah.
Let me give you some advice, not some advice, but a statement that I heard Dow Constantine make one day. And boy, Katie Wilson ought to listen to this. And Dow, like him or not, he was the consummate politician.
Excellent communicator.
16 years.
Excellent.
He and I were having a meeting one day, and he says, John, he says, I love having you as sheriff. And I was a little taken aback, and he saw that. He says, not you, John, but not you, because that's how we got along. But I love having you elected sheriff because if something happens, bad shooting, whatever it is, all I got to say is, hey, go talk to the sheriff. It has nothing to do with me. He's elected. Go talk to him. And if Katie Wilson understood that, she would not be in the position that she's in today, taking all of this heat, because it really falls on her. Now, number two, what she should have done, advice is cheap, and mine especially. What she should have done is taken him aside and says, Chief, really a come to Jesus meeting. I don't want you traveling so much.
Yes.
Making you look bad, it's making me look bad.
Exactly.
If you continue to do that, I'm going to be looking for a new chief. So let's turn that page. She should have done that.
That's it. We don't need the instability right now. As far as I can tell, I'm not happy with everything if I look at some of the cases that are unsolved. But overall, I felt like we were trending in the right direction.
I
loved how FIFA went. I thought things have been going really well.
I think so too, as much as we know. I mean, I think the African American community supports him. We've got to bring some stability to the Seattle Police Department. It's a morale issue, if nothing else. I had a very similar situation. I have had three division chiefs that worked for me. One of them ended up being gone way too much. Did a great job. You know, I had no problem with the work that he was doing, but he had an advocation after work. And it was really important to him. And he was leaving early to go do that all the time. His job performance was fantastic, but people were talking. So-and-so, I won't name him, is gone too much. So I sat him down. I said, buddy, this is what's going on. We both know it. I know it. If I see it, all your people see it as well, and it doesn't look good. Knock it off, or I'll get a new chief. I never had another problem with him at all.
And you bring this up, though, and we'll move on after this. The thing is, if she wanted to keep him, there would have been ways for her to address these issues. The bottom line is, they've been clashing from the start, and this is not her pick.
Apparently.
Right?
Yep.
So
the camera issue, they clashed over that for sure. Okay, a couple of things I want to talk about because so now we're dealing with this while we're going into Seafair, all the festivals.
Yes.
And there was a lot of discussion about the Bite of Seattle and the fact that it was open. From your law enforcement experience, is it time to kind of section off like we do at other festivals? I mean, at a festival I just went to, and there was, a couple of entrances. You didn't have just this wide open space. From a public safety standpoint, I know there's different types of public safety. You think it's time to kind of, at these large events, have some barriers so that it's just not?
I think it may be nice, but look at the Seattle Center. Look how big it is. And maybe if you had magnetometers and so on and so forth, you could have kept this 15-year-old out and his guns and his two buddies, at least two or three, not buddies, but others that were carrying guns illegally. But you can't keep the guns out. You can't keep the guns out of the Seattle Center because it's a public area. It's against the law to do that. They tried, a former mayor tried to do that and got shot down by the Supreme Court. So that's not the answer, I don't think. Okay. Where you can do it, there are certain venues where you can, but they're private. They're not public.
Understood.
So that's not it. I would rather see people staying in jail when they're caught with guns. That is the issue, whether it's juveniles or adults.
We bring that up. That was one of the things we said, too. We need to be a lot tougher when it comes to crimes committed with people, including young people carrying guns. But what can we do meaningfully to keep guns away from kids? Like when you looked at this situation, a ghost gun, and then at the other gun that had all sorts of ammo still in it, getting in the hands of young people.
Well, the ghost gun was illegal. The magazines that they had on the two guns were illegal. They can't possess even the magazines, even the clips that held all the ammunition. They can't possess that. Nobody can, juvenile or adult, unless they had them in their possession prior to 2022. And the 15-year-old would have been, 9? So that doesn't apply. It's that whole gun control issue, which really, there's 400 million guns in this country. 300 million people or 350 million people.
Wow.
And 400 million guns. This talk about gun control, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And a lot of people say it shouldn't happen. We need to come up with another way of stopping all this violence, and gun violence is part of it. Not the only part of it, but part of it.
And we also found out that this is a gang shooting. And I know that people were reluctant to use the word gang.
Oh,
but,
my gosh. Yeah.
But that's what we're saying now. And I know that Seattle got rid or disbanded its gang unit. Is it time to bring them back? And I know. Do you want to answer that after the break?
Yeah, let's go to the break.
Okay, yeah. Okay. because these are tough topics and these are things that we need to discuss. And I sure appreciate you, John, former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, sticking around here to answer these questions. Text us too, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Do you have any questions about what has happened, what we should be talking about when it comes to this shooting at a very big event? We've got big events coming up this weekend. How safe are we? Okay, so we'll talk about that next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Reutin from the Gee and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the Gee and Ursula YouTube channel.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Holy smokes, I can see. Hey everybody, it's Rick Riz, and I just had refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision, and it's amazing. K2 Vision RLE means no more readers or glasses for me. Plus, I'll never get a cataract. Now, when I call a game, you won't see those readers dangling from the end of my nose to see the field and then my notes. I only wish I had done it sooner. It's like seeing a whole new ball game. K2 Vision RLE was quick and painless, over in just minutes, and I knew I was in great hands. The K2 Vision RLE team has done over 150,000 lens procedures. You can trust their stuff. K2 Vision RLE is my permanent solution to a lifetime of great vision. It could be yours too. Enjoy life's good years without readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Get your free Zoom consult now at K2VisionRLE.com. Then you can make the same call I did. Goodbye, glasses. K2VisionRLE.com.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
All right, I'm so excited to be talking with Phil Mitchell. He's a new advertiser to the show. He owns Sunset Auto Family. Phil, welcome.
Thanks, Jake.
You guys offer something that I think is so valuable. We have so many listeners in our audience who are business owners and a lot of people who are driving commercial vehicles. You guys are basically like a perfect silent partner because you offer repairs for life on these commercial vehicles. Tell me about that.
Well, basically, repairs for life means any vehicle that we repair for over $250, we're going to cover that repair for as long as you own the vehicle. So if you got a commercial fleet and you put a transmission in your 250,000-mile truck, we're going to cover that for life.
And you think about the value added there for a small business owner who is trying to stretch every single mile out of these vehicles.
You don't even have to buy the vehicle from us to get the repairs for life. Basically, we want to service your entire fleet. So if you bought your fleet from somewhere else, let us service it. We'll give you repairs for life. We're going to save you thousands.
Love it. Only at Sunset Ford and Sunset Chevrolet in Sumner. You just get more at Sunset, and people do like that.
Jason Rantz here. If your water heater is getting older, leaking, or running out of hot water, CM Heating has an affordable solution. Get a new gas or electric water heater installed starting at just $44.99 a month. With CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program, you'll get lifetime repairs and maintenance at no extra charge. Parts and labor covered for life. Plus, same-day installation is available in many cases. Schedule your free estimate today at cmheating.com.
License number CMHEAHL 750LP.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. A coalition of black community organizations has been at Seattle City Hall this morning trying to convince Mayor Katie Wilson to reconsider her firing of Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. Alton Fields, an elected trustee at Seattle's First African Methodist Episcopal Church, telling KIRO News Radio.
She's just really too quick on the draw there, because I just feel in my heart that he hasn't got a chance. You just can't fire, I feel, a police chief within a year. He hasn't even been on the job a year. And he's doing the best he can. And, there's mass shootings all around the country. And police chiefs aren't fired like that.
Now, sources told KIRO News Radio that Barnes was given the option to resign or be fired yesterday and that he chose not to resign. Our Luke Ducey is at City Hall. He spoke with some of the people who apparently did get to meet with the mayor. And according to what Luke is hearing, she apparently was unclear with them if she even fired Barnes. So we're going to talk to Luke here in a little bit and get some clarity on that. Meanwhile, questions about how much time Barnes has been out of town have come up since Sunday night shooting at Seattle Center, where, of course, 3 people died. He was in Dallas. There's also been backlash against the city over the fact that it took 5 hours before SPD put out an update that night. Police department said they were told to wait for dignitaries to arrive. Wilson denied that she told them that. Prosecutors, meanwhile, want the 15-year-old boy charged in connection with that shooting to be charged as an adult. Preliminary hearing on that was set for this morning. A final decision, though, could take weeks. For now, the boy is charged with assault and unlawful possession of a firearm. And there's at least one more suspect still on the run. One of the 3 people killed was also a suspected shooter. Questions being raised after ICE agents arrested a man near Seattle Center while investigators were processing the scene of Sunday's shooting. Washington Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal criticized the timing of the arrest.
It does seem incredibly insensitive and cruel to come back and conduct an ICE enforcement action right after we had a shooting where 3 people died, 4 people were injured, and hundreds of thousands of people were traumatized.
ICE has not responded to KIRO 7's questions about the case. Seattle Center told us the arrest happened on a nearby street, not on its property. And SPD says they could not confirm any ICE activity at all.
That's KIRO 7's Jason Sloss. After a months-long international manhunt, a suspect in a deadly Parkland homicide is behind bars. Pierce County Sheriff's Office says Brandon Torres Mesa was found in Mexico and arrested with help from the FBI and Mexican law enforcement. He's accused in the May 24th killing of 17-year-old Braylon Diaz. Torres Mesa is again in custody in Mexico and will be returned to Washington to stand trial. Let's take a look at the roads now. Your traffic Got some delays coming out of Everett. To make your way to Seattle, take you just over an hour. Normally this time of day, it's a 45-minute drive. Linwood to Bellevue, about a 5-minute delay right now. And if you're heading from Linwood into Seattle, big delay in that part of the world too. 51 minutes it'll take you. Normally takes you about 29. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio. Weather forecast. Sunshine, 78 degrees today. We warm up tomorrow to about 83. Sun and clouds on Saturday. Also a few showers, and it'll be breezy too. A little of everything. A little bit cooler. 72 degrees. Right now, we've got 69 degrees in Seattle. I'm Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. He'll be back tomorrow. Angela Poe Russell is filling in, and we are having a conversation with former King County Sheriff John Urquhart about the debacle that is currently City Hall. And you just heard in Frank's report, we still don't know exactly what is happening, and it sounds like it's not real clear at City Hall. But you had mentioned before the break, we were talking about what happens next. Who's going to want this job if, in fact, he is out? Internal? External? Your thoughts on that?
Seattle is a big city. The Seattle Police Department is a good police department. Let's not gloss over that. It's a good police department, and it deserves a really good chief, whether that was Sean Barnes or not, or the next person. But you got to ask yourself, what A-list person, police executive, is going to want to come to Seattle and work for a mayor that very, very easily could be a one-term mayor. So got 3 years left, a little over 3 years left, in a tumultuous situation. And that's a shame, because the Seattle Police Department and the citizens of Seattle deserve better. They deserve the best. They absolutely deserve the best. And it's incumbent on the city council and the mayor to find the best. And right now they're looking with their arm tied behind one arm tied behind their back, and that's not good.
And one of the things that I'm concerned about too, as someone who lives in Seattle, is I think Chief Barnes was doing a great job in terms of bringing in new recruits, and the police department has been trying to ramp up the number of recruits every year. What does this do to that effort?
Well, it's a morale situation, number one, within the police department. You know, no job, whether it's a police job or any other job, likes uncertainty. They want to know who your bosses are, good, bad, or indifferent. They don't like this constant change. They want some sort of continuity. And to do good police work, you have to have high morale. You've got to have good morale in the department. And for God's sakes, you've got to have enough police officers out there. If you want to lower crime, reduce crime, which is the number one job of any police department, you've got to have enough officers. And we don't have enough officers out there. They don't have enough officers. And is this going to affect recruiting? Certainly could.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And we've had so many different conversations this week. Is there anything that we aren't talking about that we should be right now?
Well, we mentioned gangs. And all the years, 12 years I spent as the PIO, if there was ever any black-on-black crime especially, although there's an awful lot of Hispanic gangs as well, first question I would get, well, is this gang-related? And number one, we probably didn't know. And number two, I always said, I don't know, and I really don't care. I don't care what color the finger is that pulls that trigger. I want to catch the person that's doing that crime, that pulled that trigger. Black, white, doesn't matter to me. I want to catch that person. So I think there are times when we should focus a lot less on whether it's a gang crime or not, because as soon as you talk about gangs, you bring race into the conversation.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every time. We're not talking about white gangs. We're talking about Hispanic and black gangs, and that can affect how we do police work. Now,
can you explain that? Because I think there's also a danger in avoiding the word gangs. I mean, I understand this idea of making it so someone says, well, it's just a gang problem. It's not my problem. I understand that. I mean, I think that there would be a danger in that.
Very real.
But I think there's also a danger in saying, like, small groups of young people. Call it what it is.
Calling it what it is. Yeah, help us understand.
I don't want to raise up the specter of gangs any more than we absolutely have to, because young people are looking to just like most people, looking for an association. They want to be with a group of people. If you make gangs some big deal, you're more likely to get young people whose minds haven't developed yet, that have nothing else going on. They're going to join up with these people that could affect how they behave, what they do. So why do we do that? I will tell you, if you have a city, any city, that does not have a gang problem, start a gang unit within the police department. And I guarantee you, you will have a gang problem within a few months.
Really?
Because that gang unit will go out there, and every crime they come across, they will turn that into a gang situation. They'll check that little box, and all of a sudden you've got all these crimes that before were just crimes. Now they're gang crimes. And that means the police department focuses on those two communities, the black and the Hispanic community. And that's a bad way to do police work, as far as I'm concerned.
Are you saying it's similar to like when there are these mass shootings and people talk about, we shouldn't name these shooters, we shouldn't glorify them? Are you saying by constantly using the name that we're giving them power and cred and that kind of thing?
Yes. In some cases, we are building them up, we are giving them credibility, and people, the kids especially, and young people that have nothing else will gravitate that direction. Now, you look at this gang-related crime, supposedly, at the Seattle Center. Is it because one gang victim, was encroaching on another gang territory? That's the first thing people go to, the old Crips and Bloods thing that we hear so much about. Or was it because one young person stole the girlfriend of another young person, and they both happen to be black? Maybe they're in different so-called gangs, or they stole some money, or they stole some drugs, and that's why they got shot. Not because it was gang-on-gang violence.
You wouldn't investigate it differently.
We wouldn't investigate it. We shouldn't investigate it any differently. That's why you have to be careful. We have worked so hard, the police have, to build up the trust in the Hispanic and African American communities of color. We've worked so hard to do that, and I don't want to see us lose that trust. And really, that's what's happening with the mayor's office right now. She has lost the support of the African American community, I think, in her rush, what appears to be a rush to judgment. You know, had that come to Jesus meeting we talked about with Chief Barnes, waited. If she didn't want him there, wait a couple of months.
Yes.
And then get rid of them. Why do it right now? It looks like it's a rash decision, whether it is or not.
And it looks like it's a deflection, and it looks like a deflection from what you may have done wrong. It says,
absolutely.
look over here, look over here.
I mean, she looks really bad right now, mostly because of her own actions. And, she's brand new. And this whole thing about the dignitaries, it's really easy to get sucked into especially when you're new like she is, into the specter of, oh my God, I've got the governor that wants to come here and talk to me. I've got the congresswoman that wants to come and talk to me.
And they want to be on CNN.
And that's not good, but she wants to travel in that group, especially if you're brand new like that. And I think that's probably what went on Sunday night. There's no question that the press conference was delayed. No question whatsoever.
Yes.
So when it did start, what's the first thing she started talking about? We need to do all this esoteric stuff. And Heather Bosch jumped in and really interrupted her and said, hey, knock it off. We want to hear what happened
Exactly.
tonight.
Good for Heather. That was fantastic. I actually talked to Heather last night. I was like, Heather,
so did
you
I.
rock. Yeah.
Yeah, said the
okay,
same
just
thing.
real quick, because we're about to wrap up here.
Okay.
We've got Seafair. I think a lot of people, including myself, are trying to ask, if we're going to a big festival like this. And one of the things that Seafair is saying is that, we're going to have folks go through I think it was metal detector. I'm trying to look for it right now, but she says the CEO says that Seafair is going to include police, private security, and state-of-the-art weapons detection systems at every entrance.
That's good. We should reassure people. Before we go, let me say one other thing, because I've got a message to the Seattle Police Department.
Ooh.
Basically to the rank and file. And I want them to remember that you are not just report takers, you are the police. And society has decided that they're going to give you a tremendous amount of power. You have the power to take somebody's freedom away, you have the power to detain them, You have the power to go into their house under certain circumstances. You have the power to shoot and kill people under certain circumstances. And the public society expects you to use that power, not to sit back, to use that power. And I, as a police executive, and the public also expects you to use that in the right way, to treat people with equity and dignity. But you have to remember, you are a police officer. You are not just a report taker. And I want the Seattle rank and file to remember that and to do their job, regardless of all the other crap
noise
that's
around
going
here.
on.
Yeah.
You call it noise, I call it the other
Yeah.
thing.
Former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anytime.
Okay, we're going to take on a real serious topic coming up here in Scenarios, so stick around. We'll have more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
Insulation rebates from PSC are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSC insulation rebates last year, more than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSC trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call. Progressive knows you've got plenty of things to worry about.
What time does the kids' practice end? How long has that check engine light been on? Are takeout containers microwave safe?
So the last thing you should have to worry about is what to do if something unexpected happens on the road. That's why if you're ever in a major accident, Progressive's accident response can detect it and send help. It's just one less thing to worry about.
How long does chicken last in the fridge?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. See our current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally draining, but it can be financially draining too. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare so patients can focus on healing. Since the year 2000, we have distributed over $3 million in direct financial assistance to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can make a direct impact. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 23rd at the Somme Hotel and Spa in Woodinville. It's an unforgettable afternoon of hope and inspiration, celebrating local cancer survivors. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 23rd. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show, and it is time for scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
And today I'm going to share a letter that I got from my dear Ursula, my Ask Ursula column. And this comes from a listener who says, Dear Ursula, I have been married for 13 years, and 5 years ago, my wife was diagnosed with an eating disorder and entered a treatment program based on a healthy at every size approach. And that was quote unquote. And the treatment shocked me, he says. She was required to eat foods like cookies and cake and muffins, stop exercising, and get rid of her scale. And she gained a bunch of weight, which she still carries today. I thought recovery would take time, so I set a 1-year check-in to evaluate her progress. And when that passed and there wasn't a lot of improvement, I set another check-in for 2 years. And now 5 years later, I feel like nothing has really changed. She still doesn't recognize her hunger cues until she's starving and panicked. Then she eats whatever is quick. It's usually cereal or junk food. We've not eaten regular meals together in years. She doesn't exercise, and even walking the dogs is hard for her. She often excludes herself from family activities, so most outings involve only me and our children. She's probably twice the size she was before the treatment, although I don't know her actual weight because I keep the scale hidden because I don't want that to become yet another argument. Fitness and healthy eating have always been important to me. For 5 years, I have felt that I can't discuss food or exercise or body size without triggering her issues, so I've had to bottle up a major part of my life. This is also affecting our kids. My wife gives them more junk food than I would like, but I'm afraid to say anything because every conversation about food circles back to her eating disorder. He says, I love my wife and I want her to recover, but this has affected every part of our marriage and our family life. We've been in marriage counseling for 4 years. We're both in individual therapy, but nothing seems to be improving. How do I support my wife without ignoring what this is doing to the rest of our family? I'm calling him worried husband. And I just know that, yeah, a lot of the Ask Ursula questions are a little bit lighter. This one's heavy.
I'm a little confused, so let me just get some facts straight. So she had an eating disorder where she wasn't eating.
She might still be in.
And the treatment, she gained a bunch of weight, so now he's upset that she's overweight. And so he doesn't want to bring up her weight because it might trigger her not eating again. Is that what we're talking about?
And they're both going to therapy, but he says it's not working.
I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I thought he was going to be concerned about her health and, like, whether she still had. I would, if this is about weight, I don't want to hear it. Like, I just hope she's healing and doing okay. And yeah.
Well, something stood out to you, and I'm curious if it stood out to you too, Jeff.
I think I understand what you're saying. The way I read it is, and understand it, is that an eating disorder doesn't necessarily mean an eating disorder where you are starving yourself to, like, you can be bulimic and still be gaining weight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So my understanding is that she still has disordered eating that the treatment did not address, and that is still greatly impacting her life and his life. What I read from that, and the only thing I can say to you is, it sounds like, and you need to understand, that your wife is living in a lot of psychic pain.
Yes.
That she is addressing through food. And that, whether it's a disorder or you want to call it an addiction, that is what she's living with.
Mm-hmm.
If it's limiting her like what she does, how she enjoys life, her time with her family, and it's impacting your marriage, you need to start from a place of understanding your wife's pain and being empathetic to it. The only advice I can give you is, when I was going through addiction, my wife at one point said, hey, if you need to go to detox at some point, if you need to take the time to go get treatment, I'll do whatever. I will support you in any way. And you can take whatever time to get healthy, because that's the most important thing. And you need to support her from that angle first.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
I'm going to explain what I answered and how I answered, and I normally won't share my whole answer, but I'm going to do that right now because this is a little complex. I mean, this is, and you can read them on Ask Ursula at mynorthwest.com.
And may I clarify one thing?
mynorthwest.com/Ask Ursula.
mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I just want to clarify one thing. That eating disorder, because this is where I got it. I had one picture. Eating disorder doesn't mean that it's necessarily one where you starve. It can be the other way. It's disordered eating.
Yes.
And he mentioned she was twice the size. I think that's what triggered me.
That's what triggered. Basically, what I said to him is that I understand how exhausted he is. 5 years is a long time to feel like your marriage and family life are consumed by one issue, but I also saw red flags in his communication. He said he kept coming back to her size. You connect her weight to her lack of exercise, her difficulty walking, but your belief she's failed to improve, your 1 year, 2 year, 5 year check-in. Her body should not be the scoreboard here.
Thank you.
Yes, and I have never been diagnosed with an eating disorder, but I understand the struggle of being overweight, and I know what does not help is feeling like you are watched, you're judged, or your worth changes depending on the number on the scale. And to be very clear, he's not responsible for causing her eating disorder, and they're already in therapy, which tells me they're both trying. But after years without any real progress, what my suggestion is it's time for a different therapist or a treatment team with more experience when it comes to eating disorders and family dynamics, because the ones that are suffering also, in addition to your wife and you, is your children. And this just gets perpetuated too. The unhealthy relationship with food or alcohol or whatever it is. It's like, if your treatment isn't working, find more treatment that does.
If you can't talk about the number one issue and you're going to therapy together, then your therapy is not working.
Exactly.
Great advice.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to read, and I know that was real heavy for scenarios, but we extended our interview with John Urquhart, which was very important. And I want you to know that I had actually reached out to a professional therapist to help with my answer, because some of these things, that's way beyond my purview, and I just want to encourage them to get help. So if you are dealing with any kind of struggle, ask Ursula at mynorthwest.com. You can find the column there, and I'll try to help, and if I can't, I'll try to redirect you.
I love that you're not only giving wise advice, but you're giving informed advice.
I try. Okay, we'll have more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up. Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Reutin from the Gee and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the Gee and Ursula YouTube channel. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Nearly 1 in 4 people killed on the road in Washington weren't driving. Pedestrians on our roads are incredibly vulnerable, whether they're facing drunk, drugged, drowsy, or distracted drivers. Pedestrians are defenseless on our streets. That's why Davis Law Group fights for pedestrian accident victims and their loved ones after a crash. Davis Law Group delivers. So if you or a loved one have been injured, call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888 or visit DavisLawGroupSeattle.com.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition.
Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. Just in the sentence, 15 years for the Georgia dad who gave his son the rifle used to kill 2 students and 2 teachers at Appalachia High School in 2024. Colin Gray had faced 80 years in prison. A requested letter is holding up the nomination of President Trump's personal lawyer to be the U.S. Attorney General. 2 Republicans, John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, are asking for Todd Blanche to put in writing that Trump's $1.776 billion compensation fund is dead. Blanche appearing unwilling, and Cornyn thinks he knows why.
I know that Todd Blanche understands it, but I think he's probably getting some pushback from the White House, and that's making things more complicated than it needs to be.
And now President Trump is saying he's considering pulling the nomination until the senators leave office in January. The Iran war widening. Iran today firing at Jordan and Kuwait. Iran proxies firing as well. This is ABC News. The NBA may be skipping preseason games this year in the Middle East. First time in 5 years they'll be doing that, says ESPN. Past 4 years, they've been in Abu Dhabi, but that was before the UAE came under attack. Formula One is moving its October Grand Prix from Bahrain to Malaysia. Divers in New Jersey's rain-swollen Passaic River found the body of a 10-year-old who apparently kept his 11-year-old sister alive as they struggled together in the water last night. Passaic Mayor Hector Laura.
He had put his hand on her head trying to get up above the water, and he may have inadvertently saved her life, or without even knowing, obviously. When he pushed her down, she described that underwater she felt rocks. When she came up, she couldn't see him, but she used the rocks to get back up.
Crews are back in the water now trying to find a third child, a 10-year-old girl who remains missing. Officials believe that the 3 children were near a riverbank ramp when they waded into the swollen river and got swept away. I'm Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Is he fired or not? We'll get the latest on the situation with Seattle's police chief from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey in just a couple of minutes. First, we get a look at the roads. We've got a stalled vehicle southbound 405 in the Kirkland area, just south of Northeast 124th. It's blocking the left lane. Lots of delays out there right now, too. Alderwood to South Center. 405 will take you 58 minutes, normally a 44-minute drive. 65 minutes if you use I-5. Normally it should take you about 38. Auburn to Renton, about a 5-minute delay right now. 9-minute delay from Bothell to Bellevue. Everett to Bellevue. taking you about 16 extra minutes, 52-minute drive there. Everett to Seattle, 65 minutes right now. Normally that should take you about 37. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Frank Lindsay. A coalition of black leaders in Seattle met with Mayor Katie Wilson this morning to ask her to reinstate former police chief Sean Barnes. The story from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
The 10 members of the coalition of black community organizations, including the NAACP and church and community leaders, met with Katie Wilson. Bishop Reggie Witherspoon with the Mount Calvary Christian Center says she was cordial, but wasn't clear if she actually fired Chief Barnes. I asked what the bishop's impression of Katie Wilson was. He said he'd wait to answer that question until she made a decision. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Now, Luke's going to have much more on what those leaders had to say and what they heard from the mayor in just a couple of minutes with Ursula and Angela. Downtown Seattle Association President and CEO John Scholes has released a statement on all this, which reads in part, Seattle had been on a positive course on public safety with police hiring trending up and crime trending down. I'm concerned that this move sets us back. Former King County Sheriff John Urquhart telling the Gee and Ursula Show he also questions Wilson's decision.
Seattle deserves an A-list person. And I thought Sean was going to be that person. Mm-hmm. Certainly Bruce Harrell, who I have a lot of respect for, thought that. City Council approved him. They thought he was going to do the job. And something happened. And I think she really, really jumped the gun by firing him.
Now, this, of course, all comes after Sunday night's gang-related mass shooting at Seattle Center that left 3 dead and at least 4 people wounded. A 15-year-old is in custody, but there is at least one more suspect on the run. Text messages obtained by the Center Square show Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson told Governor Ferguson a press conference was likely the night of the shooting, but didn't confirm it. Governor's office telling the Center Square that he had no role in delaying public communication after the shooting. Ferguson's communications director says discussions about an event with elected officials were separate from SPD's public safety updates. And the Center Square's TJ Martinell tells Seattle's Morning News.
I think what we're witnessing is people in leadership fighting over who's going to take the blame for the delayed conference. I think the thing that I feel like is not being emphasized enough in a lot of comments that I've gotten is that Katie Wilson said likely a public conference later tonight, which meant there might have been no public conference. And my question is, does that mean there would have been no police briefing? Like the public would have had no idea what had happened and gotten no update until potentially the next day.
As it turned out, the public briefing started just before 11 o'clock, about 5 hours after the shooting. Well, if you just can't wait for Seafair Weekend, you can get a sneak peek today. Blue Angels are going to be practicing runs over Lake Washington, their first practice run getting underway right about now. There's another one set for 3:30 this afternoon. And the weather for those practice runs, not too bad. Mostly sunny, 78 degrees this afternoon. Sunny and 83 tomorrow. Some clouds and sunshine on Saturday. Also, maybe a few showers. A little breezy, too. 72 on Saturday. It's 66 right now in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on the Gee and Ursula Show. It is the 3rd hour of our show. Gee is out. We reached out to him. We were hoping that he could join us maybe in the 11 o'clock hour. He's doing granddaughter duty.
Which I love.
Yes.
It's good to have those moments, and he does spend a lot of time working, so
yes,
it's okay.
Exactly. Angela Poe Russell is in. So nice to have you here.
Yeah, and I get to be here, so thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Coming up at 11:30, we will agree to disagree. But as always, you all teach us so much. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is so full of conversation and text messages that really help kind of add to our conversations of the day. And we've had some tough ones. 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
Okay, 3rd hour, we're talking about it still because there's a lot we still don't know. Less than 4 days after that deadly gang-related shooting at the Bite of Seattle, Mayor Katie Wilson has either fired or not fired her police chief, Sean Barnes. And I say it that way, Luke Ducey, because we still don't know exactly what has happened.
No, we haven't. And, here we are. I just got back from City Hall where a coalition of Black community organizations here in Seattle met around 8 o'clock this morning and then met with the mayor about 9 o'clock. But they spoke with reporters beforehand. They made this point as well that we don't know right now if we do or don't have a police chief or who's running the Seattle Police Department. As of yesterday evening, the timeline that we have is this, that, word spread quickly yesterday afternoon that Barnes canceled several interviews that he had scheduled yesterday. Then he attended a vigil for victims of the shooting, but then left abruptly, apparently to go meet with Mayor Wilson. Wilson reportedly asked for his resignation. I've heard that from multiple sources. He said no, apparently, and then she fired him. This is just 12 months officially on the job. This coalition, again, when they heard the news that Chief Barnes is no longer chief of police, and again, who knows who's running the show now because we haven't heard anything from the mayor's office. They met with the mayor for about 40 minutes in City Hall this morning. They described afterwards that she was cordial. They wouldn't share details of their discussion, but I asked a few more questions. They said that she would not say whether or not she actually fired Chief Barnes. She wouldn't say either way. And she was non-committal, though, when it came to reinstating him. They were there in her office to say, you need to reinstate the chief. They also described, and this was very interesting, we had not heard this before until hearing from this coalition. They described an issue centered around race relations inside the mayor's office. Another member of the coalition told me and other reporters that she wanted to ask the mayor why she hasn't hired more people of color. She said the mayor doesn't know their community and who they are. And then she doesn't know who Sean Barnes is either. I spoke with Bishop Reggie Witherspoon with Mount Calvary Christian Center as well. I want to share one thing that, maybe a couple things that he shared with me.
One, her inexperience. Two, you have to be careful of ego in these kinds of situations. Three, not looking at the big picture. It doesn't seem to demonstrate wisdom at all when you look at seafarers coming. We just brought him in a year ago.
I should have given that more context before I played it, but he was basically saying, the reason why she's in hot water now and why she probably made this decision, rash decision in their minds, was because of her inexperience, he was saying. And I finally did ask him when he came out of the elevator and he told me how it went. I did ask him one final question, and that was, what was your impression of the mayor, Wilson? If you really think about it, we don't really know her too well. And we don't know her operating in pressure situations like this. This is probably the largest magnitude heavy pressure situation she's been in as mayor. And his answer to me was impression. Well, I will answer that question when she makes a final decision about Chief Sean Barnes, whether to reinstate him.
So in your years of reporting, do you ever recall something like this happening?
Nope, ever. I have reported in multiple markets. And this is a large city. We are a large city, and I've never seen you know what it is? I've seen decisions where people lose their jobs and their replacements, but I don't think any of us have ever seen, and I've never seen it as a journalist, the mess that is involved in the disorganization. Think about what's happened in the last 72 hours. We've had a mass gang-related shooting. 2 innocent people have died. Third person died who was involved in the shooting, according to police. We have multiple people injured, including a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm. One suspect still on the loose.
Who was hit by a bullet. Suspects on the loose, maybe more suspects, but at least one who could be a shooter. We've got a delay in communication, and then we've got this, mysterious kind of, why was the information delayed? Was it because they were waiting for the governor's office? People are saying no. And then
the governor's office released a text message, right? There was a text messages we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but here we are, and now we've come to this point just days later, and we don't know if we have a police chief, if someone's running the Seattle Police Department. Mm-hmm. We still don't know. And why is the mayor's office not explaining that? That to me is, I've never seen that.
There's a crisis in confidence. There's a crisis at City Hall, and right now, she doesn't have a communications team all in place, right?
She got rid of a key communications, the lead communications person, Sage Wilson, or he left, one or the other. There was a separation there just in the last week or so. I don't know who makes up their communications office. It's difficult for us as journalists. Listeners should know this. When we have questions for the mayor, it's near impossible getting any answers or getting anyone on the phone, let alone any emails, because we don't know who to contact.
Yeah, she posted the job, I want to say, about a week and a half ago because someone just said, does she have a communications director? They posted the job. I think they advertised it on social media. So I know and meanwhile, their temporary person is from the it's internal, someone from their DOT or something.
Department of Transportation.
But I think it would be hard for even a communications person to right now try to communicate what's going on because it's chaos.
It's chaos. And, I have also worked in corporate communications and I asked a couple of people who are seasoned veterans at communications, on a global scale. They work on geopolitical issues, legal issues that span the globe. And, I wanted their impressions of just the communications process that's going on right now within the mayor's office. What's your impression? They're not saying, well, they could do better, they could sharpen here. They're not saying that. You know what I'm hearing from these experts? PR 101 mistakes, rookie mistakes. That's something that you learn in your first job or as an intern not to do. That's what I'm hearing from these seasoned professionals. Their jaws are dropped at how there's such a lack of communication, and when there is communications, it's either inaccurate or it's strife with just this kind of leaving you with, like you mentioned, questions about leadership and who's in charge and what's going on. Again, I want to reiterate, here we are, less than 24 hours, of course, but reports that your chief of a major city, the largest city in the state, has been fired, and we still have not heard from the person in charge where the buck stops, the plan moving forward, or who's running the show.
Yeah, I think what's happening right now is the terminology, fired versus forced to resign, and what makes you more liable to lawsuit in the future. I think that's what's maybe
so.
I don't, because that's probably the only logical explanation at this point.
Yeah, well, or maybe the decision isn't final. Remember when Jenny Durkin narrowed her search down to 3 candidates?
That's true.
3 final candidates, and there was a name that was not on that list, and that was Carmen Best. And then the police union, along with a lot of members of the black community, as I understand it, really pushed to get Carmen Best back in there. And despite kind of kicking and clawing, Jenny Durkin said, okay, let's start the process over back again and throw her name in the hat. And then Carmen Best became the police chief.
That is correct.
One thing I heard today along those lines was, perhaps it is a strategy that you are non-committal, especially with this coalition that went and talked with her, because you might be preparing to walk back maybe you didn't fire him. Maybe it allows you to disavow and say, no, we never fired him.
Mm-hmm.
When all indications are, and every source says that was the case, we haven't heard from Barnes, we haven't heard from the mayor.
Yeah.
Look, he was fired.
Text us if you are in law enforcement, especially Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, especially if you are at SPD. Text us so we know you're listening. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. How are y'all feeling about this? But let's move on. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, have you ever heard what's going on up in Snohomish County, where Councilmember Nate Nearing wants to redirect 20% of the county's Affordable Housing and Behavioral Health Fund, which amounts to about $3 million, toward involuntary treatment facilities? This is reported from the Herald, and they're saying that Nearing wants to create a secure facility where people with severe substance use disorders could be committed involuntarily under Ricky's Law. And the councilman says people who are addicted to fentanyl are too often left with 2 bad options, jail or dying on the street. And he says this forced treatment could provide a path in between.
Ooh, this is a tough one. And so I want to, because I had a lot of questions about this first. And let me start with, I think, the thing that we all can agree on, because it's a fact. We don't have enough treatment facilities. Even for people who are saying, I want help, I need help, we don't have enough. So, yep, we do need to direct money that way. So, as I understand it, reading this article, let's say someone's addicted to fentanyl and they're a threat to themselves or others. This person is saying, we should be able, instead of sending to jail or just letting them do drugs on the street, We should commit them, whether they want to or not, so they can get treatment. I don't know if I'd want to go that far, but because I have been an advocate in the past of saying, you know what, if you're out here doing it on the street and you're a threat to yourself or others, jail, right? So then to say no to the treatment, that seems weird. So I think what I would be for is maybe a 7 to 10 day hold. Involuntary 7 to 10 day hold. It has to be time bound. You can't hold me indefinitely until I'm better.
And review after that period.
It creates too many opportunities for abuse. But and I'm coming from a perspective of not having experienced addiction. So folks who have experienced it, let me know. It seems to be that 7 to 10 days would give you enough time to be sober to then be able to have the mind to say whether or not you would like to continue. And then if you don't and you want to go continue it, and the cycle can start again, because that's sometimes how long it takes. But what do you think about that? Like a temporary hold, involuntary.
I agree with you, actually. And I don't personally have experience with addiction, but I do have experience with a brother who had addiction and other family members who've had addiction issues. And there are times when they can't see it for themselves.
Yes.
And what's happening, to let them rot or to let them die on the streets is not a great option. I hear in you and other critics who say, would there be room for abuse? Yes. But talk to families who've tried to get someone committed who needs the help or who needs to get out of the cycle, whether it's mental health treatment or drug treatment. It can be really difficult.
Yes, if not impossible. Yeah.
If not impossible. And so I'm actually in favor of this. I think there's some question as to where is the $3 million for this type of facility going to come from. That's a different conversation. But just the idea of having an involuntary treatment facility, if there are strict safeguards in place, I would be in favor of that.
Mm-hmm.
I have questions. So I've been pretty open about, dealing with addiction. I was in detox and, inpatient treatment for a couple months at the beginning of this year. I know that there are people who've written into the show and who've, shared anecdotes about family members who say, going to jail saved my life or my brother's life. That's where they got sober and cleaned up. And they got their life together because they were forced to get sober. I know that can work for some. It is also a statistically very, very small group of individuals. I am okay potentially giving this a shot so long as you're showing me a good faith effort that you have enough beds to provide treatment to people who need it, who are asking for it right now. Because if you're creating an involuntary treatment facility that's providing a statistically low probability of success of people coming out of that facility clean and sober and having that stick, and there's other people who are saying, I need help, I'm desperate for help, I want help, those are the people who are statistically much more likely to be successful at treatment, then okay, go ahead. I don't know if that's the case right now. Yeah. There's a big, big difference in being in treatment and in a facility where you're surrounded by people who have a desire to be there, and being in a facility where you are forced to be there and people are unwilling participants.
And I hear what you're saying, and I think that I can see where that would be an issue as well, but what we're doing currently is not working.
I would also say that medication-assisted treatment is also widely available in Snohomish County jails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people are truly committing crimes, and how do you identify the people under Ricky's law to go round up?
Yeah. We got a text in from 253 saying they're for this idea. They're a drug court graduate for Pierce County, 9 years clean. If I didn't go that route, I would not be here now.
And others are saying, like Jenny in Puyallup says, 7 days is not long enough. There is such a thing as pause, so 30 to 60 days minimum is needed. But when it's involuntary, what I heard you saying is don't make it such a long stretch. I mean, at least long enough to break the cycle immediately and then reevaluate.
Right. But I think Janet's point was that some drugs take a little longer to come out. So I think I think what we all agree on is maybe not all, but some finding that spot of where you have enough time to get sober to make that decision. But Chef makes an excellent point. For the people who want it, we definitely want to prioritize those folks.
And we don't have enough at the moment for that. Okay, I'm going to throw in one last little thing real quick. Do you know that we rank among the worst when it comes to tipping in this country? We haven't talked about tipping in a long time, but Angela, Toast analyzed transactions from nearly 170,000 restaurants using its payment system during the first 3 months of the year, and Washington customers tip an average of 17.8%, which is the third lowest in the country. Only Washington, D.C. and California tipped less. What say you?
Ooh, a couple of theories. A couple of theories. I think folks here are struggling because things are so expensive. And so you feel like, wait, because I have to admit, I've been tempted when I feel overcharged to be like, you got your tip. Okay, that was too expensive. But I still leave it. But you can just feel like it's too much. The other piece that could be interesting is that we have a very international community here. We have a lot of folks from other places that may not do tipping. And so I'm sure that's a culture shock for some people who come here.
Yes.
They're like, wait, what?
Text us. What is your guideline? Do you usually go just 20%, just double the tax?
I'm typically 20%, but if it's something really, really expensive and it's kind of on the fence over whether I should be tipping anyway, then I might do like 10 or 15.
Oh, you even got to 10.
Well, only for really expensive.
On what it is,
but if I'm just at a restaurant, coffee shop,
yes,
it's 10. It's like I'm usually 20. It's easier to do the math.
It is. I know, it's like, don't even try to make me do 18%.
No.
Although it's automatic.
What about you?
I don't like when they start at 25%.
Oh,
and then they hide it, and then you have to look. It just keeps going higher and higher where they're starting.
It used to be 10, 15, 20, and now it's like 20, 25, 30.
Yes.
And that's annoying, guys. Come on.
Yes. Okay, we'll have more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
I have been driving a really cool car lately. It is my first hybrid. It is a 2026 Subaru Forester Touring Hybrid from Carter Subaru, and I am thrilled. I have never felt safer in a vehicle. And I went into the dealership. I went to Carter Subaru last weekend because we had to put new license plates on. And I saw on a sign that the car that I'm driving, this Touring Hybrid, is #1 rated from Consumer Reports when it comes to safety. And I get it. It not only has the comfort, it has the technology and the safety that I want for myself and for our family. I now have this 11.5-inch multimedia screen that has navigation. It's a hands-free power rear gate for all the grocery chaos that you might have when you have an upcoming big party like I'm going to have coming up here in a couple of weeks. And the Carter Subaru team is always fantastic. It's exactly why we keep buying our cars there. I got my Outback from Carter Subaru back in 2016. We also have a Forester that we drive still, and both are driving great. But now having this hybrid, it is fantastic. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline. See what's waiting for you at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 7/31/26.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into video only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through Sunday, August 2nd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
A perfect game by a Seattle Mariner. It was done by the King.
50 seasons, 50 legends, one unforgettable night. Join the Mariners Saturday, August 8th for 50 season celebration night at T-Mobile Park, presented by Daktronics.
The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship.
Before the team takes on the Rays, arrive early for the most epic pregame ceremony in Mariners history. You'll witness the biggest gathering of franchise icons ever assembled as the 50 greatest Mariners from across all 5 decades are revealed. From Griffey to the big unit, from Ichiro to Nelson Cruz, and every legend in between, you don't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Junior with a 2-run home run. Everybody is going bonkers here in the Kingdom.
Seats are going fast. Get yours at mariners.com/tickets.
We all know a cancer diagnosis is physically and emotionally draining, but it can be financially draining too. That's why Northwest Hope and Healing is here to help. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare so patients can focus on healing. Since the year 2000, we have distributed over $3 million in direct financial assistance to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can make a direct impact. Mark your calendar for Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 23rd at the Somme Hotel and Spa in Woodinville. It's an unforgettable afternoon of hope and inspiration, celebrating local cancer survivors. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 23rd. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
When your closets don't work, the pantry's jammed, garage useless, most homes were never designed for real life. Charlie Harger here for Closets by Design. It's so much more than just closets, garages, pantries, laundry rooms, home offices, wall beds, all custom built. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Frank Lindsay. Leaders from Seattle's Black community met with Mayor Katie Wilson for about 40 minutes this morning to discuss her firing of Police Chief Sean Barnes. Here's KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
They described afterwards that she was cordial. They wouldn't share details of their discussion, but I asked a few more questions. They said that she would not say whether or not she actually fired Chief Barnes. She wouldn't say either way, And she was non-committal, though, when it came to reinstating him. They were there in her office to say, you need to reinstate the chief.
Barnes was removed 3 days after the deadly gang-related shooting at Seattle Center that claimed 3 lives and wounded at least 4 people. We have made multiple requests for comment to Mayor Wilson's office and have not heard back. The Downtown Seattle Association's president and CEO, John Scholes, says he's concerned that Barnes' removal sets the city back in terms of public safety. Meanwhile, we're hearing from another survivor of Sunday's shooting. Jonathan Morales-Jimenez tells KIRO 7 he was shot in the back and that the bullet is still lodged in his pelvis because doctors say it's too dangerous to take it out.
The fracture is what really messed me up. I mean, I fell on my knees. I was, bleeding out for a little bit. And then, when I touch, my lower back, I see blood and it's like, oh, I got hit.
The good news is doctors expect him to make a full recovery. Major breakthrough in the case of 17-year-old Braylon Diaz, who was killed in Parkland back in May. Here's KIRO 7's Lindsay Shelton.
Detectives working with the FBI and authorities in Mexico tracked down suspect Brandon Torres Mesa and brought him back to the U.S. You might recall Braylon was shot and killed after a group of people in a car pulled up to him and stole his necklace. Right now, Torres Mesa is in custody. 2 other suspects were arrested back in June.
The United States and Iran each fired barrages of missiles today as the pattern of back-and-forth strikes took hold again as hope dims even more for a quick end to the 5-month conflict. Blue Angels headlining the Boeing Seafair Air Show this weekend at Genesee Park, flying F-18 Super Hornets over Lake Washington tomorrow through Sunday. You may have already seen or heard them fly over this morning. They're practicing over Lake Washington at this hour. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic now. Let's get the latest from Nate Connors.
All right, Frank, Linwood to Seattle is a lengthy 55-minute drive. That's double the norm. We've got a hefty backup at 145th and Shoreline all the way into downtown. No blocking problems. This is just volume. North 5, stop and go from the north end of Boeing Field past I-90. You'll catch a little break, and then it's solid again between Mercer and the Ship Canal Bridge. Plan on 25 minutes to get through all this. The West Seattle Bridge, you're going to jam up eastbound at Highway 99 over to I-5. South 405, we're slow between Canyon Park and Totem Lake. Again, from I-90 into Renton, all added up, Alderwood to South Center is an hour. That's a 20-minute delay. And North 405, you're bumper to bumper through the Renton S-curves. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Weather forecast calling for sunshine and 78 degrees this afternoon. Even warmer tomorrow, sunny and 83. Cooling back down to 72 on Saturday. Some clouds in the forecast, maybe a few showers too. Maybe kind of breezy as well. Sunday, cloudy early on, but then partly sunny and 71. 67 degrees right now in Seattle. I'm Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. It is time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves, just really go at it.
Yesterday, we talked about the impact of a whole generation growing up knowing they can't make a mistake, knowing that every minute of their life has the potential of going viral. There was an Atlantic piece that brought up actually the case of this, and I want to talk about whether it's okay to film people in public. So the whole reason this was brought up is last Thursday, a New York couple was posted kissing on a park bench in Central Park there. It went viral on TikTok. The guy filming says, "Get a room, there's kids around." Like 5 million people have seen this thing. Thousands of people have commented. Some people posting about how this was an awesome thing, that their ability to do it. Others shaming them. Their parents flew out. They've been named and doxxed.
Oh, man.
Angela, we've all whipped out our phones, right, or thought about it. What do you think about filming strangers in public?
I think filming may be fine, but posting it is not. And I try to be very mindful of that. And I've actually lost a Facebook friend over it.
Really?
A friend was on a flight and filmed the person next to him without permission. And it was in a derogatory way.
Oh.
And they weren't doing anything. I can't remember what it was, but let's say it might have been snoring or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they posted it on social media. And I'm just like, okay, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Would
exactly.
you? It's like the golden rule: do unto others, you would have them do unto you. And I just don't
So
think.
you were defending the person who was basically ridiculed for whatever it was, and then someone cut you off?
Oh, no. I'm saying I lost
Yeah.
respect for the person
Oh, I
who
gotcha, yeah.
posted that.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I let them know, like, why are you showing this?
Yeah.
Like, this is not, but people do it a lot.
Oh, yeah. You never know, even within buildings, within your own workspaces, where there are people who try to document everything, and they will be putting stuff on their camera to reference later or to show other people later. So, and I think that's gross. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think it is a very rare video, unless it is something, just putting something in a positive light, that I am sharing with the intent of shaming somebody.
Yes. And I'm even mindful of if I'm taking, let's say, a big picture of an event, of who is in the frame and whether you can
Really?
see their faces. Oh, yeah, I'm mindful. And then if let's say I take a picture with a group of girlfriends, I will ask before I post, because they may not have taken that picture for the purposes of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too? You're looking
I don't
at me
know,
like-
Angela. I mean, this is engaging content, right? If you see somebody doing something ridiculous or embarrassing or, let's say, borderline abusive or, let's say, trampling a public space in a way that somebody should not be doing, sometimes this can be a good enforcement vehicle, right? Hey, if I film you and your dog's taking a crap and you don't pick it up every single day, and I put you on blast on social media, and all of a sudden you get doxxed, and people have all these vile opinions of you. Well, aren't you just kind of getting what comes to you? Because
that one I feel better about.
Life
because-
normally doesn't come around and kick you when sometimes it should, and this is a way where sometimes people get their just comeuppance. I'm doing my best, by the way.
He is. He's trying to provoke and
But he's
right
almost
now-
convincing
Yeah,
me, because I
exactly.
hate it when people don't pick up their dog's poop.
Yeah, but do you want them to be doxxed over it?
I don't want them to be dog.
Well, we don't assume that someone like our video is the one that's going to go viral,
Yes.
right?
But there are some people who are taking those videos with the very intention of
getting as much engagement.
getting as much
but
engagement
gosh, I didn't think it would go
and
this
making
far.
it that viral one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I do, and I am someone who does live a lot on social media. I mean, not always by choice, because we have to do it through our job. But I'll take pictures. I'll take family pictures. Sometimes my sons just get kind of like, okay, we don't need to document everything. And so I've been better about that. But I'm always going to ask, like, are you okay if I post this? I'm also not going to be the person who posts something knowing someone looks awful or only looking for the pictures that I look good in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I try to be mindful of that too.
What do you mean? Just look for the pictures
those
you look
ones
good
where
in?
someone else, you catch them with their face disoriented or
they're eating
eyes
something,
closed,
yeah.
but you look good in that
Yeah,
photo.
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Guys don't think about this, I don't think. This is is
Okay.
something that happens with mostly women,
So
right?
if three of us are taking
Yes.
a photo,
Yeah.
and Ursula's like, "Oh, I look good in that photo," but she notices that you have your mouth open in a weird way and a crumb on your chin, but she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep this photo because I look good." Like,
Okay,
Yeah, that
here's
happens.
my hot take. Y'all think way too much about this stuff. Because we all are so sensitive about the way that we look on camera, right? And something that looks terrible to me objectively might not look bad to anyone else. No, you think that this is like a
when
willful?
somebody. I always appreciate it when someone makes me look good when they post their
I
thing.
absolutely do. And I'm always appreciative if someone says, hey, are you okay with this shot? Because every once in a while I'll say, yeah, no, can we try another one?
Okay, I have another agree to disagree. Or do you have
No,
a pressing
please.
one? Okay, it's your child's 21st birthday.
Yes.
Do you take them for a drink? Agree. You take them for a drink. Agree to disagree.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were there on one of them. Yeah, when Steven turned 21, we were there. We went to Joey's.
Okay. And you had a drink.
And you know what? He doesn't drink alcohol anymore. He went through the whole, so he is now abstaining from alcohol.
Okay.
Jeez, this is Okay, so obviously you're going to know where I'm coming from because I've been open about alcohol addiction. I think one of the things that made addiction easier for me to fall into was the fact that alcohol was so taboo in my family. Mm-hmm. And so it always needed to be a hidden behavior. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes our stigmatizing for young people of, having a little healthier relationship, like, hey, it's okay for a kid to have a sip at 14, 15, 16 with dinner like they do in Europe. That's a healthier approach than we have where it's pure abstinence until you're 21 and then we binge drink here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with it. I probably won't do it, but I'll have plenty of conversations with my kid about it and normalize what it is and what's bad about it.
I didn't take my kid, so we're not doing the drink thing. And my main reason wasn't being afraid of it, but it was like, why is that the reward? Like, why is that? For me, it was like, why is that the thing with turning 21? Why is, so I kind of just felt like if my only reason is because like, oh, it's tradition or, oh, it's, yeah. So
I respect that. Yeah. It's
I don't know if that's the right thing or not.
Also, well, it all depends on who the 21-year-old is.
Yeah.
One wanted to and the other one didn't.
Yep.
It's all good.
Maybe I'll ask her and see, like, is that something you want to do with me?
Yeah.
Want to have some rosé together?
Yeah.
Or?
How about a trip to Vegas?
This is weird, Mom.
I just feel like in our culture, sometimes we reward things that are just kind of like, oh, everything is a dessert or everything is, and I
the rewards are unhealthy behaviors. Yeah. No, I totally get that.
Mike and Edmund says, my guess is you didn't take Steven for a drink. You took him out for his birthday dinner and there was a drink. This is correct. It wasn't focused on drinking.
You didn't do shots?
No. I don't even drink. Okay, we've got more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up. We hear you and our words to live by. Stay with us.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Your old water heater's starting to peter. DayandNight.net. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
DayandNight.net.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good night's sleep.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. A child recovering from surgery and the family struggling to put nutritious food on the table. That's why Seattle Children's, Safeway, and Seahawk, Jackson Smith and Jigba launched the Food First Project to fight pediatric food insecurity by providing grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs for families. No barriers, just help. 12s, we need you. Learn more at Safeway.com. Again, that's Safeway.com.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO News Radio is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks in their preseason home opener, Saturday, August 15th.
To enter, open the KIRO News Radio app or visit mynorthwest.com/win for details.
You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances.
Enter daily from July 28th through August 3rd.
Full details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win.
That's mynorthwest.com/win.
And just like that, we are at the end of the Gee and Ursula Show, Thursday edition. Thank you so much for filling in for Gee today. Angela, you have the honors of starting us out.
I don't see the text messages, but I'm going to start with one that I have.
Okay.
So let's see. We were talking about addiction. This is Dave in Everett. I was hopelessly lost in addiction to heroin and meth. I lost everything, including a long career at Boeing. I could not stop, didn't want to stop. My family tried everything. It took a prison sentence to change me. 7 to 10 days is not nearly long enough. Very seldom do you ever see people staying clean, even after a 28-day treatment, especially with fentanyl. 30 to 60 days, even 90 is their best chance. And I have them in front of me now.
Okay, good. Okay, 206 has a question for you. Angela, what would you ask the mayor if you are in that room with the community members? Emotions are probably running high. I've had a tremendous amount of respect for you since that time that Chef and G asked you to interpret or advise on how to say things in a more professional manner. I feel you're great at pushing but not breaking people when interviewing them in a professional manner.
Ooh, I would ask her why. What is the cause and why now? Those are the two, and obviously the conversation would go from there, but it's always trying to listen first.
Yes. I think that's great. Okay, we talked about rusting out in your career. Curtis, the ferry captain, says, I started my career with Washington State Ferries in 1976. I was just out of high school. I had the drive to make it all the way to the top, and I'm now in my 51st year. I love my job. How could I not?
Aww.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Robin Puyallup, why should I want to be challenged more if I'm not going to see any compensation for it?
Do you want to help Rob?
Because you feel better, Rob. You feel good. You feel better. Rob's like, no, I feel better with more compensation.
Yeah. Well, it's hard if you're struggling to the point where you only see your job as drudgery that still doesn't pay your bills.
Yep.
Justin from Australia says, I do my job to pay the bills. I make a comfortable living, which allows me to enjoy nice vacations and own a house. I tried the starving actor thing when I was younger. I'll go back to acting in community theater when I retire.
Oh, I'm glad he was able to try it, right? And have some time with acting.
Yes.
That's cool. Mary in Everett. I'm a retired middle school teacher. Loved my work every day. It was my passion. Before that, worked in insurance and then software development for money. No sparkle for me in doing those jobs.
Regarding the Seattle police chief, whether he's been fired or forced to resign, we still don't know. Ty in Tacoma says, I believe they're focusing on the wrong things here. They're more worried about Sean Barnes being gone than the big picture. I believe the mayor delayed the response on Sunday, and like you guys said, the police were ready to give an update, but she wasn't. That's on her, not him. And now she fired him to take the focus off of her. The whole thing stinks to high heaven.
206, going to a conference is not PTO. How many days of the 47 was PTO?
206 says, so when is Mayor Katie going to make a freaking statement? If she fired Barnes, she needs to let her constituents know they no longer have a chief. That's what we're saying, and we're waiting.
Yeah, one other perspective, Justin in Ravensdale, Chief Barnes should not have been fired if he had enough leave time. What does his job description actually say about expectations for staying in town? As long as he's accessible by phone, I don't see a problem with him being out of town. That's why you have an assistant chief to step in when needed.
And then I did ask for any Seattle police officers, and I did get one who is going to be anonymous. And this person says, terminating him under these circumstances and at this point in time is premature. The public would be better served by the mayor establishing her expectations with the chief and then letting him carry on from there. If he does leave, it's only going to further destabilize our department. It was difficult enough to attract a chief from the national search that came up with him. Well, and I agree with that.
And that's from someone on the police force
in
now.
The department right now. Okay, we are.
Is it time for Ursula?
Time.
Yeah, so it's time for Ursula's words to live by. We loved your Ask Ursula and looking forward to what you have to say.
Well, I will say that on days like today, sometimes it feels like it's hard to have gratitude, but this is about that. Because there are so many things in the world that could be invisible to the material eye. And when you take a moment to stop, to pause, to be present, and notice them, that is gratitude.
Just noticing what's in front of you.
Yeah, and some days are harder than others.
Yes, but you know what? Even though today might be difficult for a lot of people, I see you, I see Chef, I see Nick, I see all of you who text in, for better or for worse, we're together. And what a great opportunity and a privilege for me to be here. So
well, and it's a privilege for us to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great day. Chef, thank you. And Nick.
Well, maybe some are feeling rushed out in their own careers, thinking work is getting stale, but have security when near. And if you're in that group that thinks you might need different scenes, I don't think it's ever bad to find the grass that's much more green. But as for tipping culture in the state when going out, I'm not holding up that motto with a bonus tip in doubt. You'll get the gratuity from me with what you already put on the receipt over there, but I'm not doubling down after that.
Love it, Nick.
Nick. And
so grateful for you.
Yeah.
Did you notice how you and him were kind of aligned on the gratitude piece?
Yes.
And you didn't even plan it.
No,
he
theme. He gets the vibe. He understands the vibe of the entire show. Jake and Spike are coming up next. They have a lot to talk about as well. I hope you all enjoy your afternoon.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
This time things seem just a little different. And when I look in your eyes, you know I can see that it's true. And I hear you say it's all right. Think we're gonna make it. Think it might just work out this time. It's all right. Think we're gonna make it. Think it might work out fine this time. It's all right.
Join the Mariners at T-Mobile Park August 7th to 9th for 50 Season Celebration Weekend. Friday, post-game, catch the Alumni Home Run Derby featuring Ichiro and other former Mariners sluggers. Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. On Saturday, arrive early to witness the greatest gathering of Mariner legends in franchise history. And Sunday, score a collectible 50 Seasons pin thanks to KeyBank.
It just continues. My, oh my.
Seats are going fast. Get yours at mariners.com/tickets.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once-yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Get any size high-efficiency AC for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service includes lifetime repairs and annual maintenance at no extra charge. Book your free estimate at cmheating.com today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Tune in to elevate your wealth. If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, you do not have the time to deal with a market downturn. With Mark Stimson and Casey Elkins.
It's important that you know what the rules are, because if you don't, you can make some tremendous decisions that could adversely affect you, and you may not be able to go back and fix them.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth, Saturdays at 11 a.m., right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
It's the best time of the year at Staples, with back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision,